I love you.
I know.
Oh, wow. If only we were watching Empire Strikes Back, but we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I'm
guess
quoting
big one.
Return of the Jedi, as it turns out.
Oh, that's Return of the Jedi. Oh, well, yep. Hey,
The
happy
other one.
New Year, everybody. It's New Year. Woo! And we're
Yeah.
starting off New Year with When Harry Met Sally. Woo!
Hey,
Why?
yeah.
We'll get there. With me today, we have.
Hello, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, a Geeky Writer.
I'm Crimson Maroon.
And I'm Sprinks, and hey, if you're listening from New York City, I have to do that every
Again.
time. I'm sorry. Yeah, again, you can find us over on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Blueski, TikTok. We have a letterboxd with average out numbers and graphs of whatever it is we have done and covered. We have also a visual side of things on YouTube and Rumble with a PNG tubers and a slideshow of whatever it is we're covering, but maybe not your cup of tea, maybe not your fancy, maybe you're driving to work and you can't, eyes on the road, come on. Well, don't worry. Plenty of audio platforms out there as well where you could be listening to right now. Think that's the whole wrap. Great. So, stay tuned because we have a very different style today. We're going to try a new structure, see how it goes. Maybe you'll like it more. Maybe you won't like it as much. Maybe we won't like it as much. Who knows? We're I'm we're classifying it as the recap style. If you've listened to our recaps, you'll kind of get a feel of what it is a bit. But we're gonna go with histories, and then we're going to go with some fun facts we have about the movie, then the recap style coverage of the film, and then wrap it up with summaries and ratings at the end. But before we even get into histories, I got one overarching question to ask, which is the reason why this movie was picked. Is this a New Year's movie?
No.
All right, well, Crimson gives a flat no.
Um, I should have expected this question. I actually would say
Well,
it's
it's
a
the reason it
holiday
was
movie.
picked.
I think a lot of the most important scenes happen on holidays, so I'm content to say it's a holiday movie.
Okay. We, for this themed season with all these holiday and Christmas picks, we're trying to find something for New Year's where we covered New Year's Eve last year, and there's no New Year's Eve Day movie this year, or like a sequel of that. Anyhow, so we're trying to look for New Year's movie, and the only thing that could pop in my head was I remember important scenes took place during New Year's in this movie. So I think that was like our running pitch.
Well, there was another one.
Well, there was another one, but we didn't have access to it.
I did. I found it. Anyways, this
Oh,
is what ended up being
well,
picked. The reason I say no, I guess to dive into mine on it was it doesn't revolve around it. It's like 3, 4 minutes, maybe 5 of the whole movie, and yeah, that's it. It's a movie that has New Year's in it, but it is not a New Year's movie.
I see. I can agree with that. The movie does not focus around It's not New Year's Eve. That movie.
No, and I don't
So
think the whole movie was built upon. The ending is New Year's. They set
no,
the
no, no,
groundwork,
no.
but it's not the goal of the movie.
I agree. I agree. Okay, well, just wanted to run that by you, and audience, let us know down if you think this is a New Year's movie, or you watch it every New Year's, or you would have never considered it to be a New Year's movie. So, um, with that, let's go into histories. Let us start with Crimson. What is your history with When Harry Met Sally?
All right. So I've heard of this movie. I've never seen it up to the point for the podcast. I watched for the podcast about a week ago, so my mind is going to be a little janky on some things. I'll probably forget things.
Yeah, sorry, audience, about some timey-wimey scheduling stuff that happened on the behind the scenes.
Um, I didn't think I'd seen anything from this, but I did see a little part of the diner scene where she's
Of course you have.
freaking out, but it wasn't
Course.
that part of the scene. It was just a chatting part of the scene. And a compilation someone did of like combining movie dialogue and making it into a song, and they took a
Oh,
snippet from that.
okay.
Sounds like
So
something I would
that
have
is
gotten
my
for
history.
editing as an editing assignment back in high school.
It's a great YouTube channel, but I don't know if we plug stuff or not. So
What, you wanna do a shout out?
sure. Shout out to Thanks. I ruined it.
That's actually a funny
Okay.
name.
I hope that's the name and you didn't screw up.
I possibly did. I can double check myself.
Oh, well, that's a crimson move. Well, while you're double checking, let's go to writer for history.
All right, this is a favorite of my mother's. That being said, I haven't watched it in a while. I have seen it before. I've probably seen it peripherally a few times where I'm not focusing on the film. But I don't. It's not a movie I ever really sat down to fully engage with too often. So my history is probably maybe one or two more times where I focus to watch it. Um, yeah, that's my history.
All
It
right.
was incorrect. It was there. I ruined it. No, thanks. I ruined it.
Ah, classic move of you. All right, I guess that leaves me. I've seen this movie twice now, once for the pod and once a while ago, and maybe I was just more immature at the time a while ago or wasn't in the right headspace, but I found this movie quite boring first time I watched it. Do I still find it boring? You'll have to wait till the summaries and ratings. Um, but this is a Rob Reiner movie, and I like some of the movies he's done, and we've covered I think one of his already on the podcast so far. So yeah, just this. I think I got around to watching it originally for my first time because of that. Because I'm like, oh, I'll just another of his filmography to add to my watch list kind of thing. So,
Very fair.
and I can't remember if it was before seeing this movie or after seeing this movie that I saw the test animation footage for Toy Story, where they originally wanted Billy Crystal to play Buzz Lightyear, and they used the wagon wheel coffee table dialogue to animate Buzz Lightyear 2 to voice test.
That's
I'm glad we didn't
actually
end up
kind of
with that.
funny. That would I haven't seen that, but I kind of want to see that footage now. Does that exist somewhere?
Yeah. No, I could probably find it after. They also did that with Tom Hanks's Woody, and they took audio from Turner and Hooch. So, but of course, Tim
Let's
Allen
see
got
that.
Buzz, so then Billy Crystal came later as Mike Wazowski, which I think a lot of us would say is a more fitting role.
Yeah,
Mike Wazowski.
Anyway, we'll go into facts and little sour note, audience, which you probably probably already know by now, being New Year's Day when this is coming out, and a little behind the scenes curtain for us. As Crimson brought up, we're a little late to covering this from when we watched it because of some things that have just occurred. But because of that, a new fact was added that wouldn't have been if we recorded this prior, which is interesting. Um, Anywho, this film was released initially on July 21st, 1989. It has a runtime of 1 hour and 36 minutes. Its budget was 16 million USD, where its box office came in with a whopping 92.8 million. I think it made its money.
I think so.
I
It
agree.
was Yeah, it's rated R and its genre is comedy romance, and it's directed by what I've already brought up, Rob Reiner, who's done films such as A Few Good Men, Misery, Stand by Me, and The Princess Bride.
Oh, that explains the romantic writing a little bit.
And Princess Bride was 85, so 4 years prior to this movie. So maybe that brought in an
Hmm.
audience of his work.
Maybe. I
I
mean,
think
there
it's
are
85.
people that watch stuff just for directors.
That's true. I know I do. The new trailer for that Spielberg movie looks great, but that's a different thing.
And
And then a couple fun
I
facts.
avoid movies by directors these days, or try to.
Well, I know one. Uh, tune in next week. So,
uh,
fun facts we
there's
have.
there's our hint.
Yeah, there's the first one I have here is the segments of married couples telling the stories of how they met are real stories that director Rob Reiner collected for the film. However, they hired actors to relay said stories,
Okay.
Interesting.
That was gonna
Okay.
be a question I asked,
but
so
those
that
weren't
answered that.
written.
Mm,
So,
yeah, they're stacked.
yeah. The scene where we see all four lead actors talking to each other on the phone, individually on various telephones thing, took 60 takes to nail.
Guess you
Yeah, I
gotta
can
get the
see.
timing right?
Yeah, it would be a lot of with timing, because unless they were filming
Yes.
all four simultaneously, which is possible, but I feel like they would have to do that individually and then just kind of edit everyone together.
I think they filmed pairs of two because Carrie Fisher and I forget the other actor's name, but the married couple on the bed were probably together in the scene.
Yeah,
So they were filmed at the same time, but Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal were probably separate. I don't know if they were in the same bed at the same time being recorded, so then they could just. I feel like one of the two got the footage of the others to bounce off of, but the
maybe.
first two didn't. That's my guess.
Yeah. I feel like I mean, it's a famous dialogue scene, I would think now for sure, because it's very hard to get people talking over each other right and still get through all of your lines and like get across all the information you need to that they both just happen to turn down breakfast at the same time, like little things like that that really need to get right for that scene. So yeah, I could see why that would take a lot of time.
Yeah. Also, audience, take these with a grain of salt. Found them on the internet. Who knows how true or false they may be. Next one I got here is in the museum scene. Billy Crystal ad libbed, but I would be proud to partake in your pecan pie. Meg Ryan laughed and looked to her right in the film, which is her looking at director Rob Reiner silently, who prompted her to go on with it.
Mm,
Mm, okay.
okay, interesting.
I have three more, but I'm going to add in my newest fact so we don't end on a sad note. Rob Reiner passed away on December 14th, 2025. He and his wife were stabbed to death by their son.
Yep.
I know I could have not included that fact, but I think it's a little important in modern age and where we are now and um, timing and all that. He did, however, I didn't write this down, but he did finish the script, I believe, for Final Tap 2, or Final Tap 2 came out. Spinal Tap, not Final. Spinal Tap 2. Um, so I think he got through all of that before his passing.
Mm, so there might be another product of his later.
Yes. Might already be out. I'm not 100% sure. But next one I have here is at screen testing. Director Rob Reiner reported that during the fake orgasm scene, all of the women in the audience laughed uproariously while all the men were silent.
And I think that is the
Well,
point of the scene.
yeah, delivers the point.
And then the last fact I have is the off camera voice that says, "Hey, everybody, 10 seconds until New Year," is Rob Reiner.
Oh, cool.
Alright.
Now, do either of you have any additional facts to add?
I do not.
I don't know.
All right. I'm glad I can detect there was a comma between don't and no. Anyway,
I don't
sorry.
know.
Yeah. We'll go into the coverage now. New one. So the recap style, which is going to be more based around questions, basically. So if you know our recap, we kind of go over gosh, how do I phrase this? In the recap, we do questions that are like, how did the whole season go? What was your favorite character in the whole season? What was the best editing in this said season? We're going to do something similar like that, but just for this one episode. So if that follows along. So to help, I'll go first and look for a good starting question. I guess the biggest one is, do you think sex ruins a friendship?
Wouldn't know. Haven't had that happen.
You've never had sex with a friend?
No, no, I haven't.
Okay. But do you think it would ruin a friendship? Maybe ruin's too harsh of
I
a
think
word.
it would probably redefine the friendship. I don't think it automatically would ruin one.
Okay. I'll go next, so writer can go third. I think I think sex in a relationship is very tricky. And I would probably advise against it. But it really falls onto the friends with benefits situation where is it a one-time fling for comfort, which kind of was shown in this film after the breakup Sally had with Harry being there for her. But if it's a reoccurring thing, then it could fall into, I mean, it just falls onto the comfort level of both people because you're friends at that point. It's not a one night stand where you're still somewhat in the stranger situation. So being friends and you know of each other and everything, it's kind of goes into like, where does your morale go? Or morale, is that the right thing? Or loyalties of like, are both of you single? Is one of you in a relationship? Does the other part of the relationship know? Is it actually polyamorous now, or is it a disloyalty onto a
One or
um,
both. Yeah.
yeah, what it starts with an M, and I don't want to mistake it because it sounds like another word. Monogamous, is that the word?
Like for
Monogamous being you're with
one
one
person.
person.
Yes,
Yeah.
with one person. Okay, okay. I wanted to my brain saying misogyny, and I'm like, that's not it. So just
Nope, that's different.
so yep, that's completely different. Um, but all that and to then know is like again, is it a one time instance? Was it a mistake? Is it something that both of you can laugh at and move on with? Is it something where one of you wants it again and the other doesn't? It's that's why it's very tricky, and I feel like all that should be sorted out prior the event, before after the event where it's already occurred, because then you got all the emotions and everything through one or both in the situation of what has occurred. So I think I lean more that there is more of a possibility that it can tarnish and change a friendship. I think ruined is too harsh of a word, but I don't think things could be the same way after having sex.
I've seen it ruin friendships. I've seen it help, like, uh, not really help with friendships, but helped, like, people define better who they are because they were very good at communicating. So I've seen a few different spectrums on this. Um, I would say the Crimson's answer is probably the closest what I would put it. Baseline, it redefines whatever you have, be it you were acquaintances, friends, or just it redefines the parameters around whatever kind of relationship you had. Um, and it absolutely can ruin your friendship. So don't jump into it, and if you do, you have to be willing to, you know, stick it out afterwards and have a long conversation to kind of find out where your new boundaries are, and I mean, you have to reevaluate what's going on in your life because if to go carry off with what you were giving as example, Springs, like if they were both cheating on a partner or if they're both single, you have a lot of redefining you have to do about what comes out of a sex with a friend. So I would say it doesn't automatically ruin a friendship, but I would absolutely say it of course can.
Okay. All right, cool. Good to know from all of us then. Would one of you like to jump to another talking point or question? If
Sure.
you can't find one, I can go to another. But okay.
I got one. I can do one. Um, would uh, you consider Sally's laundry list of ordering at a restaurant annoying?
Absolutely.
Uh, yes.
It's way too much.
Interesting. Yeah. I think I would. I'm also leaning towards annoying a little bit, but I also have had that experience where I have people in some of my family members who do that. So it's very weird. Like I obviously love my family, but it's weird
Someone on this
that
podcast who does it.
maybe yeah. Um, no, that's funny. I
Oh, you
understood
never
that
been out to
reference.
dinner with Crimson?
Uh,
It's not a laundry list of things.
It's not
It's
a laundry
can I
list, but you
have
do
can I have
substitutions.
this? Well, I wouldn't say that. I changed like one thing.
Well,
Yeah,
sure.
typically.
More on average, it's one thing. But I feel like there's been places where you do it two.
If it happens, it's extremely rare.
I'm
All
so
right.
now
Well,
I'm trying to think of the times where you and I went out to dinner, Crimson. We didn't go out to dinner much, mostly because
I can
you
only
don't.
think of like one time.
Oh,
We
we've
went to
been out
Olive
to a bar
Garden
and grill,
once,
the
right?
three of us.
Yeah, I remember Coyotes,
Yeah,
but did
yeah.
we ever go to
That's
Olive
all I
Garden?
remember. No,
No, I was
no.
actually there with Crimson for his first attendance to an Olive Garden, and boy, was it an experience.
Was I there for
Yeah,
that or no?
no.
No,
I
You were
because
not.
I the funny thing is the movie
actually,
theater.
Crimson, that was this year, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Oh, sorry.
I definitely
At the
wasn't
time
there
of
for that.
recording this year, 2025. At the time this come out, no.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
I would say the reason I asked is because I had three different friend groups that went to Olive Garden three different times, and I remember being so I was there with three different groups of people, which is why I'm like I feel like I've been with at least you to Olive Garden Springs, but I'm not 100% sure about that anymore because
Oh, you could. I
it's been
like
a
food.
while. Yeah, it's fair enough. I feel like the only other place that if it wasn't Coyote's Bar and Grill, the only other place that I would have gone to Crimson with is probably Little Caesars, and well, we both know he couldn't drag me there if I was dying with a bullet
No,
wound.
yeah, yeah,
but we definitely didn't go
no,
there.
no, no. No, but Crimson, you're one who's either they have mac and cheese on the kids menu, but not on the dinner menu. So you ask if you can get two portions of the kids menu mac and cheese, or on the dinner menu they have like a lobster steamed buttered mac and cheese, entree, and you want the lobster on the side and you give it to someone else.
Yeah, well, that's one change. Can I have mac and cheese with lobster on the side? Can I have an adult serving of mac and cheese if there isn't any and it's just on the
Yeah.
kids menu?
Did we ever go to Pizza Smizza together?
Ryder, I am like 95% confident you and I have only gone to Coyotes that one time.
Okay, all right, yeah, yeah. That was my last of my list, I guess.
I know you and I
Coyotes
have
is what
eaten
comes to
together
mind.
at someone's house, but at restaurants or anything, I'm
Not.
pretty sure it's just
Yeah,
Coyotes.
it might have just been Coyotes. To pull us back to the movie,
Oh,
uh,
sorry. Was it ever Red Robin back in high school?
I mean, that's a place I eat, but I don't remember ever doing that.
I went to Red Robin's a lot. If we ever ate anywhere else together, Crimson, that's not Coyotes, it would have been Red Robin's. That's my two
I think for
places that
like
I
a
tried
film
to go to
shoot.
all the. Yeah, the two places I went to a lot were Red Robin's and Coyotes.
There you go.
Anyway, writer.
Peek behind the
Yeah,
curtain of the host of the podcast.
host lore. Yeah,
Yeah, we like
yeah,
burgers. Ugh.
yeah.
Careful with the we.
To pull us back to the movie, I actually now while I would find this not annoying. I would find it strenuous if I was ever with someone and they were like this everywhere we went. I do, however, think the writing for this as a character trait is really good. I think it says so much about who Sally is.
I agree.
Yes, and it definitely shows the opposites between the two, where Harry just gives a single number and that's it. He doesn't even say what it is he wants, just the number on the menu, the most basic you can give, and the shortest answer. And
Yep.
Sally takes a lot of time to doctor up everything of her meal.
And she's kind of the worst kind of person that does this type of thing where she just speed runs it, expecting you to get every single detail right the first time instead of being, I would like this and
And
this,
wait for them to yes.
some time to write. So, blah, 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 blah.
Give an actual pace and respect to the waiter or
Yeah, it's
waitress.
a different time period. People don't like to respect their waiters and waitresses at a certain point
Of the
back then.
80s?
Yeah. It's more of a modern
I feel like
thing
a lot of
that
people still don't.
yeah, it's more of a modern thing. There's a lot more people who do respect their waiters and waitresses because a lot of people in our well, the economy nowadays are have lived in those kinds of jobs for longer periods of time because it's harder to move up in the workforce chain. So,
Yeah,
I
uh-huh. Sorry, just reminds me, I know someone very close who, is very rude to wait staff. And Crimson, you've dined with this person, and Ryder,
Start
thank
with an
goodness
A.
you haven't. Oh, yes.
Yep.
do I know them?
Yes.
Oh boy.
And the less time you spend with them, the better.
Good to know.
Anywho, um, let's go to Crimson for question to pitch.
Okay. It's not going to be a very fun creative question, but
That's okay.
what's like a continuity error you guys have caught, if any?
Ooh, did I catch a continuity error? I mean, I caught a couple like film techniques that were, I guess, dated. But did I have a continuity error?
I feel
Okay.
like I
Well,
caught
I
one continuity error. The question is if I could find it on my notes.
yeah. I mean, I can answer one that I caught while you guys are perusing your notes or perusing your memories. It's pretty much towards the end where Harry's running down the street to get to the New Year's party, and there's a shot of like the camera facing him while he's running at the camera, and they reused that shot twice, even though he turns a corner. You could the lights, the whole background's the same, but he's in a completely new place in reality.
I used it to
So,
stretch out footage.
so they reused the footage,
Oh,
which
okay.
created a continuity error. Well, he's not really there. So,
Okay. Yeah, I would say that's a continuity error.
Yeah. I don't think I jotted any down. No.
I know I had one that might have been it, Crimson, because that sounds familiar. That tickled my brain a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't write any down. Just film stuff.
Okay, no, yeah, no, I remember mine. Mine's actually in the famous dining scene, where Sally is pretending to have an orgasm. Um, there's a the side camera that's with the two of them in frame. Harry's head is not in the same place when you have it transition to like when the camera's directly on him over Sally's shoulder. His head's not in the same spot. It was a tiny one.
Is that
yeah,
on the camera changed placement or is that on Billy Crystal being seated differently?
Well, yes. I would lean towards Billy Crystal being seated differently in between the shots.
Okay.
Because
like he changed
for me, it
position
just
on a
wasn't in one
retake
take.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I remember noticing that in the movie as well. Not that scene, but a different one. Not enough for me to have written it down, but I do recall a Harry scene where his position doesn't match.
Well, Crimson, I can definitely remember and agree with yours. Ryder, I don't recall yours off the top of my head. I mean, I know the location and everything, but it's not come to mind that it was a thing. So, but good catch.
I think it's in a diner scene. I'm pretty sure it's the your fake orgasm one, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Huh. All right. Well, I guess I'll go with the next one. I guess I can piggyback off of my last question, or the first one I gave. But can a relationship get to a point where it's too late for sex?
Man, some struggling topics for me. So
I wouldn't recommend sex if
I
you're both
wouldn't
over
know.
50. Um,
That's well, I'm kind of thinking that like you
And
can get
there's
to a point where age could be quite deadly.
quite deadly. Depends on how
It
crazy
could
you
it
want to
could
get.
kill you.
Yeah, I mean, it
you can
can.
get creative, but it's I would say once you get higher up, I would say probably not. Yeah, you wait too long.
I don't know, because there's plenty of people who wait till marriage, and then there's people that wait like 10 years to get married. So I don't think there really is like a cap for it.
That's a good thought on that. Yeah. Those who save themselves till marriage. And then when that occurs, it's fine. I've never heard of a story where people save themselves for marriage and after the honeymoon they get a divorce.
I was like,
I've
do you
never heard of
have a
that.
lot of talks with people with their sex lives? um,
No, not typically.
no.
That's kind of something I stay out of. But people in their relationships and see how, close and the pros and cons of all that.
So I don't really think there is a cap to it. I'm sure it affects the relationship to some degree if you had it earlier opposed to later, but it's not something I would really understand.
Okay. And writer
Yeah, I'm still running the
or
number in
just
my
the
head.
old age.
I think old age is the obvious one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Like you said, you're waiting too long, right? This was the kind of premise of your question.
Yeah. Is there ever a point in a relationship where it's too late?
I can
I
sort
think
of see a pathway where if you guys have been together as friends for so long that sex is such an awkward idea to have between you guys or between what if like
yeah.
the two interested parties have been friends, let's say they've been friends for like 20 years, right? And then they reach the point where they're actually in a relationship, but sex is just weird for them because you've been treating the other person like more or less like a sibling your whole life. I can sort of see an avenue for that.
Yeah. I
Is that
think
for it being too long or not too long with that example?
That would be for too long.
Okay, I
There's
see.
also the opposite, obviously, where it could make it all the more satisfying, like you've been missing out for 20 years. But that's the other side of that coin.
that's good. Could have that really good laugh during the after part over it. The classic, why do we wait so long? That kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
um, yeah, no, I think what could make it more difficult or more awkward in that uncomfortable state you kind of gave writer to start is if the friend or relationship you're having with someone, they friend zone you or see you as a friend and you want more or vice versa. And during that period, they go and get into a relationship with someone else, go through the whole home run, and then they get dumped. So, or they dump them or something like that, because then they've chosen acknowledging you to go with someone else to have have that activity, and then maybe the sense of that activity or what that person changes them because they appreciate you more as a friend and know you or trust you more or than the person they were with, not more because of the events. But I think that onto the person who's watching the friend who's watching outside of the one in the relationship can get a harder and more difficult time to get into the relationship versus the other way where the one who just got dumped or dumped the person tries not to make the friend feel like a rebound to become a romantic interest or a relationship. So I think the events of that can make it trickier to possibly make it too late for sex.
yeah. I mean, there's obviously also in the long lasting friendship scenario that we kind of just touched on. There's also points where like at one point in the relationship, one person could crush on the other, and then the vice versa, that same could happen to the other person, and they just don't have like they never just happened to click at the right time. Like they both fell in love at different times and fell out of love at different times. You know, that
Yeah.
also could
Yeah, yeah.
probably feed into it.
And then there's the physical component. Like someone gets injured and they can't do it.
Oh, yeah, they get a Tetris stick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a story for a whole nother time. Sorry, audience. Not I don't want to unveil what that means. Not here. But if you have a bright imagination, you can probably guess.
Uh, Yeah.
Okay. Let's go back to Crimson.
8. So we've talked about it on the podcast before of movie moments. Were there any that shone through in this predominantly, I suppose?
Ooh. Yes. I think for me, a movie moment is the fact that they're friends when they're going on like that double date situation. It's so predictable that the friends will get together when they're planning to get the other one matched with their friend.
It's a predictable movie moment. I would still say the writing is mostly good. The only time in that scene where I think it was over the top is that they both just after like Sally and Harry and Sally after like talking to their friends and like asking them to be gentle with the with Sally and Harry in their own way, they just immediately head off together. That part bugged me a little bit. Uh, I think that to me was the most movie moment part of it because I think it was fine with them ending up together. I don't think that was there was nothing over the top about any that came before until that moment where they just both ran off in a taxi together.
Yes, I also have when they're in the restaurant. It does feel like Jess and what's her name?
Marie?
Marie. Yeah, Jess
Right.
and Marie are the ones leading the conversation, and Harry and Sally are sitting silently, and it's not a group discussion. That felt more movie moment that their chemistry is being shown on screen, connecting the two friends, and Harry and Sally are just like acknowledging that this is what's happened. That felt movie moment to me.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess it was a movie moment, but at the same time, I guess I don't view that as a anything on the damage ladder because I think they're
Oh
self-aware
no no
enough
no no.
to acknowledge that in the moment, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, a movie moment doesn't have to be damaging. Just acknowledge that it isn't 100% realistic.
Yeah, I personally, I don't think I'd list their date as a movie moment. The them at the same time deciding to jump into a cab without really any conversation, that felt movie moment to me. The actual dinner didn't really feel like it. Um, my my pick would probably be it's a short little thing, but after they sleep together, Harry and Sally, she gets up to the kitchen to get a drink. Oh, she puts on a robe because under the covers or nothing. Puts on a robe, gets coffee or a drink, comes back into bed with the robe off. In reality, I don't know. It seems like extra steps. It feels like, oh well, they can't show stuff for the movie because that's all she literally did was get up, robe, coffee, rub off bed.
Yeah, that's probably
But they
just
don't
for
even show
the
the robe coming off. It's just now she's in bed with nothing on.
yeah, that's probably the just
Okay.
movie censorship bit. I agree.
Yeah. You hear the noises,
Unless your
but they
partner
pan to the
has a
window.
kink of like wanting to take off a robe for you, which hey, maybe she's feeding into it, but don't I don't think that was a character trait ever established.
Yeah, I don't know if Harry ever made that come through enough.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I
Ryder, did
don't.
you say one?
I did give one, but I can give another potentially.
Oh, I don't remember. I
I
thought
think he
somebody
did
brought
the
up the dinner.
after the double date
Yeah,
situation with the
I was the one that
taxi.
talked about
Oh,
the cab
I thought that
scene.
was just a piggyback. Oh, okay.
That's okay. I mean, that's a couple good examples. No, I feel like it could be a rarity for a movie to never have a movie moment situation, but there are some that are believable, or some that exist. Can't really think of one that comes to mind off the top of my head, but maybe before we go, can't recall if that had any like movie moments.
I'm in. In the alleyway, I think was definitely a movie moment.
I think the big ones for before we
Yeah.
go were the alleyway and then the ending for me in that film.
Okay.
But
Well, Uh, okay, with that, let's go to writer for our next talking point.
All right. What do you guys think about, since we kind of touched on them a little bit? Uh, let's go with s- how they interact with their friends. So for obviously the main friend for Sally is Mary, and the main friend for Harry is Jesse. What do we think of how the film uses their friends to kind of help expand upon our characters?
I like it more than if they were talking in their head.
No inner
Like
monologues.
if yes, I like it better than that. That they're talking to their friends about the situation and the friendship and the relationship they're building and their experiences to see what it sounds like on the outside. Being the audience, we're following both the perspectives of Harry and Sally and see their connection to one another, so it's more understandable to us. But to the friends, they haven't met the other one, so they're just hearing from it, and it is sounding a little off. So I do
Hmm.
like that they're not going to. Also, they're going to a friend, which is more comfortable to kind of shoot the shit about sex and relationships and what have you and all that, rather than going to like a parent or
The joy of
a
having adult characters, honestly.
sibling kind of thing. Yeah,
Coworker.
I think it's more freeing to talk to a
I
friend
like
that
the
way.
concept of the friends. My issue with the friends in this being, I guess, that backboard is they are boards. I feel like they're just cookie cutter movie friends. That there's not much character to them.
Do they need to be more have more character?
Need
I
no,
think
but want.
with how much screen time these friends get, I kind of do feel like they need to be more defined characters and not just tools.
I'm not sure I agree 100% that they're. I agree they're predominantly tools, but I think we get just enough of their personalities and the characters. There's not much more to them than the cardboard cutouts, but I do think we get enough of them to separate them out from just simply cardboard cutouts. Because they're, if we're calling them cardboard cutouts, then they're pretty well defined cardboard cutouts. Like they're extremely detailed. I'm not saying there's
Extremely
anything.
detailed how.
Well, they're detailed in that
Like
they're
one thinks
defined.
there's an ugly table.
Well, yes, that, but within that context, right, you get how their relationship is functioning. You also get that they're both ship Sally and Harry together when they're having the conversation in the bed. Sally still invites, Mary invites Sally out to the New Year's party, and with the expectation that Jesse invited Harry, and Harry isn't going. That they were going to the same party, so they're working in the background to try and get Harry and Sally, if not get together, then to at least make up. So I think there's plenty of little bits that are going on with them that do push them above cardboard cutout. I don't think they need much, to be fair, because they are side characters, and this film does dedicate time to them. But most of the time dedicated to them is spent defining our main pairing.
They certainly could have been worse,
Absolutely. I mean,
Well, yes, definitely could have been worse.
but I think the football scene with the wave, which I think is very nicely done, that they're talking about a serious topic about relationships and how kind of they view women in relationships, intercut with doing the wave and was it Harry talking about his divorce. Was it? Yeah, talking about
yeah,
his divorce with
telling about his
Helen.
divorce.
Yeah, so it's a sad kind of tender bit of Harry with the Jess, but then the wave just intercuts it. So I think that was nicely done. But something like that, I think there's definitely more to Jess in that. Totally do see that they're tools because that's Harry just outputting more of himself and his emotions and what he is of his character at this point in time and what has affected him to Jess. And Jess really isn't giving his own experiences back to sympathize. But Jess isn't just sitting there nodding his head the whole time. So, so I'm on the bandwagon that I don't know if it's necessarily needed, but definitely wanted more of them to shine as characters.
I
And then
would
there's
definitely
the
say I would.
symbolism of the wave, where it also represents the ups and downs of a relationship.
Very smart. Ooh,
I
I
would
like that.
clap, but I don't want to ruin my audio. Um, no, like I said, I probably that's how I would say it, Springs, is that I actually I do want more with them, but I don't think there needs to be any more. I think we get it just enough to define what their characters are, and it's very if we're gonna again going with the cardboard cutout terminology, they're very well defined cardboard cutouts. They're grainy, they're super detailed on the cardboard, and
They're not
then
removable characters.
they are not removable
No.
characters, and they are I think why they feel like cardboard cutouts is because in most of their scenes, those scenes are predominantly being used to push something forward with Harry or Sally's characters or their relationship, which is fine, but because they're never at the center stage, their characters don't really get a chance to be defined beyond the simplicity of their tools, even if those tools are, again, really well defined.
Yeah, I think that's the
Yeah,
core of it is they never have their own moments that aren't directly affected by Harry and Sally or nodding to a relationship hurdle for Harry and Sally, like the
Yeah.
table.
I think that's
The
okay because then if it wasn't involving Harry and Sally in conversation, whether present or not, I don't quite get what they would be adding to the movie then.
I mean, for like direct parallels of relationship stuff, because anytime they're kind of by themselves, it's usually for that parallel. Not everything needs to be parallel. Like you said with the stadium scene, just could have said more on his own backstory of comparing, which would be the parallel thing, but at least we get more on Jess. We don't really have much on him.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, so again, we that goes into them whether they need more to define them because when you think about it, I don't know how Mary and Sally met. I also don't know how Harry and Jesse met. I don't know if they were work buddies. I don't know where they work. I don't know what they do for a living. That's stuff I would want to know because I actually like the side characters enough to just I would want them to get more flesh. But obviously, we just doesn't really get a chance to shine, I guess, in this film. And it's not necessarily a flaw or a problem. It's just I kind of want more.
I think
Yes.
Harry said he was a political consultant, at least at one
I
point in the
can't
film,
recall.
because it's across years.
That
We know roughly the
that's
time period where they met, but don't know the
yeah,
exact
we know.
details of it.
I think Harry's a writer. Actually, I remember him saying that he wrote something in a magazine for
Jess is a
Doubleday.
writer.
Jesse's the
Just a
writer.
writer.
Right.
Yeah.
Marie liked his writing, and then that's
Yeah.
when
Okay. Okay.
the spark
Yeah.
happened.
The
Getting it
pesto.
all ordered in my head.
Write that down. Wait, right. Pesto is the quiche of the 80s.
Quite the line.
I'm not sure I agree with that line, but
I
or
don't.
that statement, but
Pesto's fantastic to work with. I love it, but I
yeah,
would
but
not say
pesto's an
it's quiche.
ingredient. Quiche
Yeah,
is not an ingredient.
quiche is not an ingredient. Yeah,
Oh, put quiche on toast. No one does that.
don't tell the Brits they put beans on toast. I don't want to give them ideas.
Hmm, that's true. All right. Well, I'll go with a kind of big question, which I think is very nice for this film, and something we've done on the podcast before, where is I guess the middle kind of guy on this, but Crimson and Ryder, both of you have very strong cases when it comes to romance in films or media. Do you two both find the romance of Harry and Sally believable?
Crimson gets to go
With
first.
yeah, okay. As individuals, I can buy that this could happen in reality. The less leaning is the convenience of them meeting so many times by coincidence. I mean, it happens sometimes. You see someone after a decade or something, but was it like 3 or 4 times? As they randomly
Yes,
come
but in the
across
span
each
of like
other.
10 years.
Still, I mean, that's pretty big. I can only think of one person in my life that I've come across more than once by accident, uh, and that's across the whole my whole life, not just 10 years. But anyways, that's getting into like statistics. How probable is it that they'll come across each other um, after the whole span of time and still be within like the same city? For example, they could have moved during the time periods, but that's all logistical stuff that can't be calculated and kind of irrelevant. But the relationship itself, where they butt heads, uh, they don't like each other, but there's a slight interest, nothing to act on, not flourishing into a relationship. That happens, so I can buy it.
Okay. So overall, that leans on a yes, even with the sake of conveniences that occur.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if
Okay.
it's a I don't know if it's a podcast first, but funny enough, I do have a nitpick for all the conveniences because I acknowledge that they're there. I think I would have been fine with it happen once, but since it obviously happens multiple times, it does fall into a nitpick of convenience where it's like, okay, then he just needed to justify one or two of these meetings a little bit more. Um, and other than that, though, nitpicky stuff aside, with the conveniences, yeah, I totally bought into their relationship. It's a slow burn for them. I do find their chemistry to be believable. The dialogue between them and the writing between them as characters, going from not really liking each other despite some interest, and then having some mutual affection that doesn't they don't let really cross the friendship boundary until it crosses the friendship boundary. I find it to be very believable, or at least a good a nice romance.
Okay. I too find it believable in the film. I would put a nitpick on the convenience of finding each other at the airport and Harry being seated right behind Sally on the plane. That convenience, I think, is a little much.
Yeah, that was
But
the
them
worst of the
being
conveniences,
there
I
and
think.
that,
Yeah.
yes, but Harry knowing her boyfriend at the time because they work together and he can't place her, but she immediately places him. I think that convenience is totally fine in the span of 5 years. And then 5 years later, seeing each other. I I think the time given is plenty of time for them to be in New York because they're following their occupations of what they're doing. And then Harry with Helen and being in New York for that situation, why he didn't leave after being divorced by Helen is because of his job, and then Jess being there for him, kind of thing. So I think that all fits for me in understanding believability of it. So with that, I have a kind of follow up to it. Do you think Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal have good chemistry?
Romantic chemistry or just chemistry?
Just in the film, yeah, in the film, chemistry between one another. Do you think they were casted well and work well together?
A hot take, probably no. I
Oh,
didn't
okay,
really feel anything with these two, and it might just be Billy Crystal. I think because I think Ryan sells it, but I didn't really feel anything coming off of him.
okay,
I'm thinking on it. I'm kind of in the middle, and I think you articulated it well in the Crimson, where I think the actors do a great job. I do think the writing is very, very good, and but I do feel like some element of chemistry is missing, I guess, from their relationship, as far as of um, may it could be Ryan, it could be Billy Crystal, as you said. I'm trying to think if he has any moments where I'm like where I saw the inner monologue like convey the same thing as his acting. Does that make sense?
It feels like Billy Crystal
think
acting and
so.
not just Harry.
Yeah. And he does it, don't get me wrong, he does a good job. Because I do see that inner monologue and I do see his acting, but I don't think those two things match all the time. So it's a very, for me, I think that's my what boiled down the dichotomy of their chemistry for me, or where I feel that something is a little bit off, but I'm not quite sure. So I am a little bit more middling on I guess that particular chemistry, because like I said, other than that, I do think that's well acted. I do think it's really written well.
Okay. I think the two of them is like a solid 7. I think they do very well with each other, but not the greatest on screen that could have come across. With them, I think it is totally fine and believable chemistry. Like they seem like actually good friends. The romance is getting there and building, which is throughout the movie. So I think that works and is very well. However, I would say it's not a 10 out of 10 though on them because I think it goes to the casting. I could see the both of them being casted by different people of Harry and Sally, and I think that's where my little tarnish to it comes from.
That's interesting. Who would you cast, Springs? I don't know
Well, I'd have to
actors
think of
very
the
well.
80s.
Yeah.
I think Sandra Bullock could play Sally very well.
Yeah, she or Nicole Kidman. I think they're both
Nicole
frantic
Kidman,
enough
yeah.
actors to do that.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman,
Yes,
I
I
could
think
see
they both
doing
could
it.
be
Yeah.
good. Now to play Harry, don't fully know.
Um, darn it, Val Kilmer. I could see do it.
That would be interesting.
Val Kilmer could do it. I feel like it depends on how they do his hair.
Hmm, okay.
Because if I get
Up to the
Iceman,
makeup artist.
that's if I get Iceman, that's too like 80s.
No, but Harry's not cool.
Yeah.
Harry's not too cool.
Yeah, and but then if I get Mad Mortigan, that's also a little out there. So for me, it's like I could see Val Kilmer doing it, but I don't know how to find a middle ground for his fucking hair.
Yeah, can't exactly
Yeah,
have Doc Holliday in this one.
because I've seen him in a romance movie similar to this where he's blind, um, and then he gets cured of blindness and so on and so forth in the movie. Don't want to spoil too much. I forgot what it's called though. It's like Insight or something. I can see
Don't
him in this
know.
kind of role.
But then again, if we have Nicole Kidman and Val Kilmer, then you just got Batman Forever.
I suppose so.
That's why I didn't. That's why I'm not
Well, when
100%
did that come
sold on
out?
Val Kilmer.
It came out in 94?
Yeah, then this would have come out first in this hypothetical
Yeah,
pairing.
true, true, true. Yeah, I don't know who else I would have had for Harry. I mean, Tom Hanks pops into mind because of the 80s, but he could do it, but then I don't think it would be a perfect role for him. I don't know. I don't know who my ideal perfect Harry would be because Billy Crystal does it very well. So it's hard to think of someone else to cast for. But also of the time period of
Strangely
89.
enough, I don't know. Maybe he's too young. I was thinking of Michael J. Fox potentially if he was a little bit older.
Yeah,
Mm,
89, that would be
I could
this would be
sort
Back
of
to the
see.
Future 3.
Yeah.
Back
I
to the
think
Future
he's
2
too
and 3
nerdy
time.
looking.
Well,
Yeah, I think
again,
he's too young.
yeah. Like I said, I think he's too young for some of the later scenes. But I think he could do at least I feel like he could do the first half of the movie very well.
Oh shoot, what's his name? Banter about why I look it up.
Banter, banter, banter.
Banter, banter.
I don't know. I don't know a lot of actors from the '80s. It's not really my time frame of
Yeah. I
filmography.
mean, again, that's specifically why I directed the question to Sprinks because I feel like he would know.
Yeah,
Matt
Uh,
Dillon
from
from Outsiders. Just one of the things he's in. But Matt Dillon, I think, could do it. A good Harry.
I think she might be young, and so I would say same thing I would say for Michael J. Fox. I think Sigourney Weaver could play a good Sally.
mm,
Interesting.
maybe.
Um,
I feel like she's a bit generally stuck up as a like an actor type. I feel like
Again
Sally has to be very loose.
that could feed into the her ordering very particular things, but
yeah, first thing that popped in my head is her role in Galaxy Quest. Kind of like the comedy, but also the serious
yeah.
sense of like trial. So that with Sally, Sally has some comedic bits, but still serious. That could work.
Maybe it's my limited viewing of Sigourney Weaver, but I can't really picture her doing like the emotional, like teary-eyed scenes in this.
Yeah, I think that's generally that's a lot of the
Well,
just
Sigourney Weaver would be a better cast than Michelle Rodriguez.
Well, yeah, if you're
I
comparing
think
the
that goes
two,
without saying. Yeah,
Not saying Michelle Rodriguez is a bad actress. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying
she doesn't have a
uh,
lot of range.
not the best teary-eyed actress.
She's got a "I'm good, I'm gonna beat you up" face.
Absolutely, absolutely. Meg Ryan couldn't do that. I don't think. So Rodriguez got to
I
beat
don't
her on
think
that.
convincingly.
No. And I'm sorry for those who think this is a perfect casting for this movie and you can't see it any other way. That's totally fine. I don't mean
yeah.
to be narking on that.
To be clear, I do think they do an excellent job with the material they are given. We're arguing hypotheticals.
Yes, 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 yes.
What,
I
what
just
about
think
John
being
Turturro?
able to see it.
John Turturro? Turturro?
Travolta,
Travolta?
No,
eh,
John Travolta?
uh,
No.
no, John Turturro. Tur
John
Turturro?
Turturro.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm saying
from
his name
what?
right. Oh, he's Falcone in the Batman, the new Batman.
Oh, oh, Sinister would know exactly how to pronounce his name.
Yeah,
Turturro.
Turturro.
Yeah. Yeah, he was in Oh Brother Where Art Thou? One of the three brothers. Not George Clooney, not the other one, but the third one. They think he got turned into a frog.
Huh.
I think
Uh,
him in the '80s could probably do a role as
Maybe.
I don't know if
Speaking
he
about that, I feel like George Clooney could probably actually do it.
George Clooney could do it.
oh absolutely
For
George Clooney could
89?
do it, but I think
Yeah.
he's too but funny enough I think George Clooney's too pretty.
Maybe. He's too cool.
He is, but Harry is supposed to be kind of a ladies' guy.
Yeah,
He
but he's
is,
also
but
supposed to be like a
he's not supposed to
regular
be.
dude, you know.
Yeah.
So it's somewhere you gotta find. He's hard to cast for. You have to
It's
find
on the
a
makeup
strong middle
department.
ground. Yeah, I guess.
Oh, what if it was Rick Moranis?
What if it was Steve Belushi?
What if it was Tom
No.
Cruise?
Tom Cruise. Okay, that goes with your counter of George Clooney. Tom Cruise is too cool looking. No, no,
Yeah.
no, no. No, and Steve Belushi, this would be a completely different movie. Uh-uh.
Actually, you know what?
uh,
Actually, you know,
89?
I actually Bruce Willis could do it. I think
Oh,
at
Bruce
this
Willis could
point
do it.
in this
Oh,
time,
yes.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
this is like just after Die Hard, right?
Yeah, around there, yeah.
Yeah, so he's still
89.
got hair on his head. I think he's a good choice.
Yeah, it's before Sixth Sense. So, Bruce Willis would be very interesting for this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Because Bruce Willis does do. I think Bruce Willis does decent romance movies, so it'd be interesting to see how he would do this one. Because this character is a little bit more talkative than some of his other roles, but also is very much more. Yeah, I'm gonna go with you said. He would be very interesting to see in to play Harry.
Okay. Well, that was a good talking point. Let's go to writer for the next one. If you got
Oh,
one loaded up.
yeah, I don't have one loaded up, but if you give me a moment, I can think of one.
I've got one loaded up.
Oh, all right, let's jump to Crimson while Ryder thinks of
All
his
right.
next.
So Casablanca is not just
I knew
referenced
it.
in this; it is
Yep.
brought up several times, which I'm not the biggest fan of because the ending doesn't emulate or reference it. Because I think it's brought up like 3 times at least in this movie. So it's weird
I
that there's no
remember.
like homage ending of where one of them has to make a choice of
Not
leaving
needed.
or staying.
Not needed. Totally fine.
No, I think with how much they put in here, it should thematically be similar.
I see. I would agree if they were doing nothing with the character growth regarding that. The fact that the characters are growing around that, I don't have any issue with the fact that it's referenced. Because when they
I think it's a
first meet,
good
there are
classic example to show a romantic cinematic couple to slight meta joke of it with it this being a cinematic romantic couple. to go with comparison between them, and actually the difference with their first conversation when they get to that first diner on the road trip, talking about it, seeing the difference between the opposites of them. Then again, that whole thing is just really showing the opposites of these two characters. But
Yeah, for me, it was showing. For me, it was showing the difference in their character growth, like how the two of them have changed and progressed from where they had originally argued about it. They were now watching the end together and enjoying it. I think that for me was the important part. So I don't view that as just fan service for the sake of it. It was in there for a valid reason. It could have been another romance movie, sure, but they didn't have to do Casablanca. But
Well, it's more than just like it's on screen. It it's like directly talked about of, oh, are you Jeffrey Brogart or the other one I'm blanking the name of?
Audrey
Um,
Hepburn? No, it's not Audrey Hepburn.
no, the just the other guy because she ended up choosing the guy with the plane to leave or Bogart and stay.
Yeah.
Um, and it's brought up to them as comparisons in their relationship that they're talking about. So it feels like it should carry more weight on their relationship by the end as more of a reference nod, but it's not present.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I'm still in the boat that it didn't need to be.
Well, nothing needs to be anything
No.
anytime.
Ingrid Bergman. That's
I
who it
think
is.
I
Not
would
Audrey Hepburn.
probably be on your side, Crimson, if I felt my time was wasted. Does that make sense? Because I feel like with the scenes in Casablanca, those scenes are still accomplishing something. So I don't view the reference therefore as hollow. Like I don't need it to have a more thematic relevance. I absolutely could do that, but I don't necessarily think that would be a strict improvement. It would just add to the thematic feeling, I guess, of it if they chose to do something more relevant than Casablanca.
I don't have much more to say. I mean, I just feel like if one of them had to make a decision between, I don't know, like Harry has a job opportunity he has to go to tonight or go to her. That's not a very good example, but that's kind of the mindset I'm going with is that there's a decision to be made with an exterior entity.
How many you said there's probably like 3 instances you think of
At least
Casablanca being referenced. Okay, at least. So let's say 4. How many would have to be removed for you to not see this damage line? I don't know where you have it on the damage line, but this negative feeling towards it away. How many would have to be removed?
it's not purely numerical, it's the caliber of the references too. Because if it's just in the background of a movie they enjoy watching, and it's brought up a few times, don't have much problem, but they compare themselves to decisions that the characters in that movie make. That comparison, I think, is brought up twice in the movie of this what decision Sally would make because she changes her mind later. So, because the reference to the film is compared to themselves, I feel like it's in the movie's interest to emulate a bit more. So, I guess that's where it lies: is the impact of the reference, not necessarily how many.
Would you lean that you would prefer a more modernized parody bone structure of Casablanca for this film?
Um, Bone structure. No, I don't think they need to like recreate the film loosely. I just think the ending needs to be a bit more emulated to some degree because I don't think it's emulated at all.
I agree with that. I don't think it's emulated at all at the ending. Huh. Very interesting question to pitch. You can tell writer is still stewing it over.
I am indeed stewing it over. I think I'm unmoved on it. I can see what you're saying, but I don't have any objective issue with it as it stands. I don't think that particularly factors into my scale. I think, mind you, I'm only remembering two instances where Casablanca was brought up, and I think it was brought up maybe a third time as a reference, but I don't remember the reference. So I don't think it oversaturates the film. If it was continual repetitiveness, as you kind of highlight, because I don't consider I consider two and three a pattern, but I don't consider that repetitive. So I think if it
Yeah,
was, I
I don't
was,
go on a date to a Casablanca museum or
yeah,
see
no,
in
no, no,
theaters.
don't, yeah, but like if they were brought up Casablanca, let's say 6 or 7, like 5 or 6 conversations, I might start to think it might be repetitive, which would then up the caliber of the reference's importance. I then might start wanting to lean towards what Crimson is getting at, which is because then at that point, unless they're carrying forward all the important character stuff they did, what those scenes of that they reference Casablanca that I'm remembering, I could see how those references might start growing hollow, and therefore the importance of those references should probably start feeding into a different ending in order to then mirror the thing that they keep repeating. But I think as it stands and as I remember, I don't think I'm moved too much on that. I don't see an issue.
Alrighty.
All right.
Um, I guess hmm, my final stance, because I think Springs did bring it up, where I'd put it on a damage ladder,
Well, it
or
sounds
if
like
I
it's
even
you
would.
have a negative
And
sense to it.
I am on the fence whether or not this is purely a subjective preference, or if there is some objective leaning towards it, of leaning heavily towards reference and comparing your characters to said reference out in this instance, and if that needs to be played out more by the end. And I think right now I have it as just a nitpick on objectively, but if I stew on it, I might be more defined later.
All right.
All right,
I
well,
got a
writer, did you
point I
get
can
one
get to.
loaded?
I did. Simple one. But what's your favorite conversation that Harry and Sally have?
Ooh.
I do not volunteer as tribute.
I'm not sure who to go
I was thinking on
first.
the question a little bit, so I have probably an unorthodox one, but I think I appreciate it because a lot of romances don't really do this. Is the fact that they were talking about their kinks to each other. Um, where she talks about one of her fantasies is like getting her clothes ripped off, and that's as far as like her fantasy went, and that kind of Harry was amused by that. There's, I think, I would pick that because that's the one that stuck out of my head. I don't know if that would be my favorite pick, but I don't see that very often where on-screen couples like healthily talking about their romances, or even not on-screen friends. I don't see them talking about in a healthy way their kinks and stuff like that.
That's a good answer. Yeah. I think mine would be the museum, where they start talking in funny voices and mimicking one another. Um, and there's a wide shot of the museum to show that it's not necessarily very busy, so they are kind of alone, and Sally is a little embarrassed doing it. But to me, that conversation marks their friendship of just like chatting with one another kind of thing, to actually be silly and childlike and joyful and one another. And the reason I bring up the wide shot is because I think that's what made Sally comfortable to play along with Harry, and that's not very populated, which then leads to one of my favorite scenes of the store when they start doing karaoke. So I think it's because of this that leads to that, because the store is a lot more crowded, but they still continue with it. So I just like the start of the more inner child whimsy that they have with one another versus just conversation. But it's still a conversation that they have.
Fair enough. That scene where they were hanging out there, having been to that museum only like a year ago, that hasn't changed much. Looks exactly like that in that part of the building.
Oh wow. That
I
was
obviously it is a lot more
what,
crowded these days, but
36 years ago?
yeah, that part of the Met building where they with them in view has not changed much. I do think there's a little bit more to the because what's in the foreground there is a uh, in a it's not fossil, it's the wrong term, but Egyptian architecture that was moved here. Um, Fossil is the wrong term for that, but it's Egyptian architecture. There's hieroglyphs up there and stuff like that, and that's the what's in the foreground of that wide shot. Hasn't changed much. And lastly, Crimson.
What was the question again?
Favorite
Was it
conversation
well between them or was it the whole movie?
between Harry and Sally throughout the
Between
movie.
Harry and Sally
Okay.
specifically, yes.
I think it was the diner scene where he's making fun of her about her requests for the food.
The first one,
Yeah.
it's a good scene.
So they're not even relationship or anything yet, but I don't know. It felt human
It's a
and fun,
very good introduction. Yeah,
and maybe a bit of me because I kind of do that with my relationship of poking and prodding of little intrincities. I can never get that word right. Intrin.
eccentricities.
Yeah, there you go. Of that.
I mean, it's a sign of a healthy relationship. You get to poke fun, just a tiny bit of fun. No, it's not malice or anything. Just that, the quirks of the
No,
other
not
person.
bullying in a
Yeah.
mean manner.
No, no,
Yeah, of course not. I know you're not. That's why I'm clarifying.
no. Gotcha. Okay. Well, with that, I think that's a nice little segue for me to go next because this next question I have takes place in that scene you pitched, Crimson. But does a person's name affect sex?
Once
With the
again,
Sheldon debate
a
they had?
foray I don't know much about. Conceptually, um, I don't think so, unless it's like a crazy name. Oh man, I really love you, door hinge. I mean, then I'd say that's a bit
Oh, so
weird.
a silly name.
But
Okay. An
yeah, I mean, it'd have to be,
uncontextual
I
name.
think,
Oh
something
my god, I love you,
quite out
Galaxy
there.
Gamer Girl 023.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
no, that was
uh, I can sort of see that a name could probably intrude on sex, but hey, that's the point of nicknames and pet names.
yeah. So names that are actually like words, like faith or hope, like are those
No,
in the
I
ballpark or
think
no?
for me, it's how many syllables probably.
Okay.
If a
I
name has
think
like 4 syllables or something, then it's
I
like
think you've hit
a mouthful.
yeah, you've hit where my situation with it is, where I would have it. Because something like Katie or, you know, uh, Sally or something like just a one syllable easy. But if someone's like Mary Elizabeth, that's a bit.
That's what nicknames and pet names are for, everyone.
Well,
So
I guess
I,
yes, potentially could damper it,
yeah,
I suppose.
potentially it could damper it. Is I think the where we're all leaning.
I'm curious if unfortunately I don't have someone to ask at this moment, but I'm curious if a woman's ever been with someone named Bob and Bob seemed too juvenile or childish, so they gave them the name Robert during sex, but they're not born with the name Robert.
In the history of humanity and how popular Bob is, I'm sure that's happened.
Yeah. I don't know, that one just seems interesting. But yeah, I'm on the ballpark of uh not ballpark, bandwagon of syllables. I think definitely implement into it. Also Sheldon. Interesting name. Sure there's people with the
Sheldon
name of
Cooper?
Sheldon, but not Sheldon Cooper. And not Sheldon Plankton.
Bazinga.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so that was out of me. Right, it was before. I guess back to you, Crimson.
Okay. Just generally, how do you think the introduction with the original friend was? I don't remember
Original
what her
friend.
name
Oh,
was.
the one that
At
Harry
the
was dating.
school. Yeah. That was Sally's
I
friend and she drove him.
yes,
Yeah.
I think that's actually a really good introduction to show that Harry's in a said relationship to begin with, and that they're not starting off technically both single. I say technically because Harry doesn't really treat it like he's in a relationship seriously, but it also shows a starting point and the reason why Harry and Sally are meeting up to begin with because they both have connections to this one person.
It's a mutual friend that they will
I believe
both
it's
forget about in
Amanda.
10 years.
Yeah, I think Amanda is the name.
Yeah, I think that's right. How could you forget about Amanda? Even though she already forgot it by that point.
Yeah.
Ryder, what do you think?
Of the the girl that they meet? I'm sorry, I
Just
didn't
like the whole
fully understand.
introduction
Okay, introduction.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the intro was pretty strong, with Sally being annoyed that her friend's still making out with her boyfriend, and uh, it shows the ladies' man. It's one of those things that shows and doesn't tell us the ladies' man thing because he's with Amanda. He's also with the person he ends up getting married to uh, when they meet up again on the plane, and then obviously when they're trying to date other people, uh, and still being friends later on. So we get a little bit of more, I guess, on the relationship stuff from him, even though I think she's also going through it with other relationships with people too.
I
Yeah.
think it's just good for the character start of Amanda to be incorporated to show Harry and Sally meeting like this because it's Sally's friend and she's helping her friend's boyfriend. So she's not the person to take or introduce disloyalty by trying to intervene in the car ride with Harry about his relationship with Amanda. But then Harry, on the other hand, we see that he's not fully loyal to Amanda and is having these conversations with Sally. And I think that's just very a good, strong starting of these characters, especially with this entirety of the romance movie between the two of them, of a place to start. I'm glad it didn't start where they're both single people who just help each other out.
Yeah.
You kind of. Oh, good.
No, sorry. I was just gonna add on saying, yeah, I agree with that. I do think Amanda as a, she's not really much to her character, but as a tool, I think she was a very useful introduction to help introduce these two together.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good here in the beginning, and it shows that Harry's a ladies' man, and yeah, he's willing to talk to other girls, and he grows from that. I mean, he eventually gets married, and then he focuses on Sally after that. Uh, my I don't know where I want to put it yet, but I feel like Sally is the type of person that would be bothered by him smitten with somebody else while in a relationship. And I feel like that doesn't really come across later in the movie. Obviously, she's like, "You're with my friend. We should forget about it." And then he brings it up again. That's an immediate reaction. But later, once they're together, I feel like it should be brought up, like something in the back of her mind, like, "I still remember that you like were willing to cheat on my friend. You're not going to do that with me." Type deal. It kind of feels like a forgotten trait of hers.
So you're saying because when they meet up again in the airport, she remembers exactly who he is. So her memory's good within 5 years. But then later, when they can't remember well, I mean, she can't remember the friend's name in the airport. But later, after that, when they're closer together, so over 10 years, she should still have what's established as a good memory to connect to what Harry did when they first met.
Yeah, because generally speaking, with memories, you tend to remember, if you remember at all, a broader spectrum of the event. You don't remember the minute details typically, unless it's an impactful detail of something that happens. Someone's name is not an impactful detail. That's generally what's forgotten, but you remember what they look like. Remember events. So I can buy that she would still care about that because she seemed very emotional about it.
Maybe. I mean, I can honestly say, in my experience, 10 years ago, I can't recall if Crimson flirted with me or not. Could have hit on me. I
That
don't
would
know.
be a core memory, I feel. I think that would
Yeah,
latch on to you. But you do remember things from
but
10 years ago.
I do. And I would not find it unbelievable that you did.
I'd find that pretty unbelievable.
Come on, I'm the flirty one.
You are. That's why you're out of the picture for this scenario.
uh, I think you do raise a valid point, Crimson, in that I think I would have liked to have seen it addressed. I don't know if it needed to come up in the way of that of concern, but it could come up as like in one of their early conversations. I feel like when they're out, when they just first had like met again and went to a cafe after the bookstore. I feel like in that scene it could be something they talk about because they've both grown so much, and how he's just not that kind of person anymore. Um, so I think it would be interesting to get a bit more because you're right in the sense that one of the character traits that's established for Sally is uh she's concerned about him che- him cheating. And I don't necessarily need that to be an argument, but it would be interesting to see how that character trait could be addressed in a different manner later on.
Yeah, and she heavily values relationships. That's it's shown like with the sex she referred to as more like lovemaking. She wants to be connected with the person. It's not just a fling like he is. So, with how much she weighs in on a relationship, I feel like, yeah, either a talking point or maybe she makes a joke at the cafe, like, "You're not going to go try and get her number like you did with me," or something like that. He didn't try to get her number, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Something to reference it at least.
Yeah, I think a reference to it would be nice, and also that would also give Harry the opportunity to show that he's a different person. So I do think the
Yeah,
film would benefit from that. Um, I'm gonna probably leave it as a nitpick because it's not, as far as Sally's character goes, it's not really damaging that it's not brought up. It's just a character trait that was, I wouldn't even say it's dropped, it just kind of became irrelevant, but it still wasn't addressed.
I think we want to put it as a Nick for me.
Yeah. I hmm. I don't think I think a middle ground of it. I don't think I have it on my damage ladder. But I don't have like a praise or kudos to it.
Fair enough.
I think it's just okay. But that was Crimson, so let's go to Ryder.
I really should start writing my questions down because I think of them and just forget to write them down.
Tisk tisk tisk.
I know, right? Um, what is your least favorite conversational scene between Harry and Sally
Ooh.
specifically?
Okay. Well, that does change my answer.
Yes, I'm adding the moniker and reinforcing it
Okay.
for.
I know mine. And I can go first if you wish.
Yeah,
I'd
feel
prefer
free.
that.
Okay, it's the wedding. I believe it's the wedding of Jess and Marie. And Harry, maybe it's just because I'm a guy and I understand what Harry's doing. I don't get why Sally is so cold to him when he's just trying to talk to her and like settle things and apologize and make sure everything's okay and that they're on the same page. And she's just like being so cruel, well, not cruel, but being just like mean and ignorant to him.
From Sally's
And
perspective, I mean, hold on, I'll let you finish. Sorry.
yeah, from that like conversation because she does answer him, but doesn't want to talk to him. And to me, I understand why she is upset. I get that. But I don't understand why he's not trying to continue it or shake it off or um say whatever it was just sex, who cares? Like that's not what he's trying to do or start conversation with her with, like from her point of view. But her being mad is valid, but still to relay that to him so they can have a conversation and heal from it, especially from friends, but now they're in this situation where they've had the act of sex. That I think is probably my least favorite conversation between the two of them because it doesn't feel healthy.
That's a fair pick. I don't necessarily need the conversation to be healthy. I s- I feel like the because it was such a the writing has been so immaculate in the film, at least for me, that
Ooh,
dialogue scene
hints.
stood out. Yeah, shocker. But like that dialogue scene stood out to me because it felt like Harry and Sally it felt more for the sake of drama than it was for the sake of characters. But I still understand. But even then, I say that with uh full intent and knowledge that I don't think they're either of them are necessarily out of character. Because from Sally's perspective, he just walked out on her. That thing he said that that thing she was worried about that he would do. Because he said
He did do. Yeah.
yeah. So that for her is why she's super angry on the scene. But it's a good pick, I think. It's not. I get where that pick is coming from. I had the pick.
Yeah, I like that pick.
But if you said the whole movie, my answer would be different because
Yeah,
I think the worst isn't between Harry and Sally.
I think the worst for me includes Harry and Sally, but I don't think it's them. Like it's not a conversation between them. I might ask that question next, or someone can take that when we get to it. But I guess my least favorite
But Crimson F,
conversation.
yeah, you both have to
bet-
give your answer.
Yeah, I guess I would my pick for least favorite conversation between them might be the when they get to the airport escalator terminal thing when they're just kind of riding and walking.
Oh, the People Mover,
The people mover, yeah. I think
scuffed audio too.
they try to do a little bit too much with that dialogue for me. Um, but I think that would be my pick for potential least favorite. And Crimson.
And mine, I like Sprinks' answer, but just to have something else, it'd probably be after meeting Helen, after like the karaoke bit. There's not much of a dialogue after that between Harry and Sally, but it did feel a bit lacking because you get that Harry's agitated, but Sally didn't really feel like Sally there to me. She didn't seem very engaged in making him feel better. She kind of just felt like she was there. And that might be a personal preference or reading of her as a character, but it does feel a little hollow based off the impact the scene is saying it is.
Hmm. Okay, I could sort of see that. I personally don't have any issue with it, mostly because I don't think Sally's ever seen Harry in that position, so she doesn't necessarily know what to look for as being wrong yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, she can tell that he's off. S-
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a lot of like bad scenes between them, so this is
Yeah,
would
we,
probably
we,
be
we
my
all
runner up
we
to
all we
what
all had
Sprinks
very
provided.
very
Yeah.
like different. We picked our choices for various different reasons, which is fair. Uh, if you'll let me
Well, it
go
sounds like
again,
Crimson wants my choice anyhow.
yeah. If you'll let me go
Yeah.
again, Springs, I'll ask just the follow question. What do you think?
Of
What's your
course.
least favorite dialogue scene in the whole film? And I have my answer ready to go for that one.
Ooh, well, you can go first.
I'm picking the introduction of Helen, or just the scene with Helen.
Oh, in the store?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mind you, I
well,
like all
not
the
my
character
answer.
stuff that comes from this. I do. But Helen literally just walks over to trigger Harry and then walks away.
Hey. All right. Nice talking.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah. That is my least favorite bit of dialogue in the entire film. Because it felt
Oh, there's not much dialogue to it, but
there's not much dialogue to it. One and two, it was really contrived because of how it's framed. They didn't just bump into each other. Helen deliberately walked over to him. So like there's it raises a lot of like it just makes it feel super convenient that like in the way that Harry and Sally's constantly meeting started feeling convenient at a certain point. This also just felt super convenient because it's kind of out of nowhere.
Yeah. I also don't care for that either. Shockingly, I know, but it just seems we didn't get enough of her character here where we could have. She could have been a lot more
Yeah,
like, "Hey, look at my man. He makes six figures." Obviously, that's exaggerated, but the idea of her flaunting her new relationship, I think they could have expanded more on and just, like, more than just, "Yeah, I'm with another guy."
I don't think flaunting would have worked
Well, Helen
because
No,
then
I
cheated
that
mean,
on
shows
not
him,
that
it
right?
exaggerated.
Harry got with that person.
Yeah, Helen cheated on him though, right? That's how their story ended.
That's how he found out, yes, because
Yeah,
she told him a week after she already planned to move out.
yeah. So there is some level. There could be something there. I'm kind of agreeing with Chris. They could do something with her as a character here. They don't necessarily need to make her super evil. She could be trying to like reestablish the friendship that she had with Harry for all we know. As long as that she came over with a goal beyond just, oh hey, hello, okay, bye.
And when I say flaunt, I don't mean anything exaggerated. It could be as simple as, "Yeah, me and Bob are going on our, like, 5th trip to the
Europe.
Mediterranean
Yeah.
this year," or
Yeah.
something. And it's an implied jab, but it's a natural conversation to have. So something more subtle is more
No,
what I was
I
kind of
think
leaning towards.
being that Helen's only in one scene, but talked about multiple times, but only in one scene, and yes, she did cheat on Harry. I think the scene she's in implements a good amount to show the reason why Harry was with her to begin with. I think if you show any more sense of cruelty or jab, it would very it would question why Harry even married her to begin with if that's what is shown of her and not just through word of mouth.
I don't even know if I agree with that. I don't see why he got with her based off this interaction.
Well, there's not much to the interaction,
That's my
which is
point.
why
You're
I'm
saying you can see here
yes.
why he was with her, and I'm like, I
No, no,
don't
no,
see
no.
why.
Not the reason why. I'm pitching more the reason why he wouldn't be. I think it's very mutual ground, which is good because it's not aiding too much into the benefit of, oh yeah, this is very much a hairy person that Helen is. But it's also not the other hand with the examples you said of the jab or the flaunting possibility, where then it goes, okay, why was Harry even? It's very neutral, which then just shows the strength of Harry's reaction to Helen's interaction with him and Sally, and seeing that he has not fully moved on. Especially this is one of my favorite scenes in the movie, coming off of the museum bit to this, where they're doing karaoke and having a wonderful time in duetting with one another in a crowded kind of store, and Helen interrupts, and he doesn't shake it off or go like, "Oh, hey, Helen, this is Sally, my friend," and like showing that he's moved on. He hasn't moved on. He freezes up. He tenses. He hesitates, and I think with Sally, and that gives it that such awkwardness to the interaction, which Helen, I'm sure, would pick up immediately, being that they were married together, which is why it's cut short and kind of dull in the writing sense that writers pitched up or put through. Um, and I think that is also a good tone cut from previous of this joyful, playful friendship that Harry and Sally are having in that moment. And I think all of it is just orchestrated very well. Now, I do agree that the writing is the strongest, but I think the purpose of that is for it to be that awkwardness of a lull to Harry and Sally, where yes, Helen then come across more as a tool than an actual character in the scene. Um, but that's where I have it. It doesn't seem like she's aiding into the benefit of why they were married, but it isn't also questioning or taking away why they were married.
I think that you kind of touched on it there at the end there with the tool thing. I think they needed to have some character with her here to feel like there's a reason why she approached him. I don't know why she really approached him here. She had no questions or follow-ups or updates of her life. It was just, "Hey," essentially.
Would it
You
be
never
Because there's a
interact with someone
lack
out
of
and about
anything.
that you
Huh?
know? You've never been out and about and recognized someone and interact for a little bit and leave?
I have, and it's not like this. You ask questions, "Hey, so you got a new job, you could find
Well,
somebody."
that's also true, you haven't been married to
You
the person you're meeting.
so, bec because there is nothing like that in this, it just feels like, "Oh,
Oh,
the movie threw this in." That's
I
all
guess a
it
better
feels like.
example, yeah, sorry. I guess a better example is an X. If you ever seen an X out in
Sure,
the wild.
but because she approached him, feels like there's reason she did it. She didn't have to.
No, but I think it's just politeness of just saying hi. You recognize the person.
No, this is a
I think it goes.
movie, and I feel like they have to
Yes,
establish a
I
reason more
think it
than
goes on
that.
to Harry. It shows Harry's tense and freezing that he's not being very social, especially from earlier, which I pointed out of like how freeing he is in public now.
You're right. The reason for this scene to take place is specifically to give us character stuff with Harry, but that's not the issue at hand since Helen's the one that approached him.
I think that's fine. That she approached, she said hi, was being polite, met Sally. It's on to Harry of how he reacted back to her because it's a two-way street of conversation. And she, I would say, being married, Helen picked this up immediately, which is why it turned awkward and short.
It makes it even
Harry
weirder
could have
because
continued it.
it's even weirder because in the way that it's filmed, I don't know if it's a filmmaking problem that conveyed this. It makes it seem like they came into the store from outside the store specifically to talk to Harry, and then they just immediately left. If they were happened to be in like the same store to begin with, I think I would I wouldn't be okay with it. I would still find it convenient or whatever. It's just there's
Okay.
something here that's incongruent.
Okay, we saw that differently then. Because I saw them walking about in the store. It's an interesting, obligated look of the store, but they're walking around in the store, spy them, come over, and then they walk back towards that section of it. I don't remember them ever being outside the store.
Yeah, I don't remember them being outside the store. I guess it was just like I said, it's the way it filmed them
It's like a
from
big
being
L-shaped kind of
yeah,
look.
which is all right. Well, that was my pick.
Uh,
Clearly a controversial one. So,
a good one to pitch.
Sprinks, you said you already had another one.
Yes, mine is Harry talking to Jess during the batting cage. I know Jess has been a tool friend to bounce off of Harry, and he isn't very much sympathizing with his own experiences or story. But comparatively, previous to the football scene of Harry talking about Helen, this one talking about Sally, all it is Jess giving reactions of this is off, this doesn't sound right, how you should be hanging out with a friend who's a woman, and blah, 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 you shouldn't be this open about sex. It just seemed very much just reactionary and not actually a friend conversation.
I
And it's on a topic that's beat over the head through the movie.
No, but this one stands out the most to me.
yeah. I don't know if
Because
I
the
have
one
anything
with
wrong.
Sally and Marie actually felt like a conversation when they're walking.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't know if I would say this is necessarily a bad scene, but I would say agree that I think they could spice up. His reactions are fine, but I think they could spice up his character a little bit more.
I think I have it on his acting delivery.
I guess that could be an example. I do kind of like the sort of blank, like, "Are you serious?" look that he has for most of the scene, but I guess the acting would add something to it, sure. And that leaves you,
I,
Crimson.
I feel
Or to
like
add.
Jess could have been played by I always forget his name. Um, he's in Jurassic Park 2, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Fred Claus.
Oh, Vince
Vince
something.
Vaughn?
Vince Vaughn. I feel like Vince Vaughn could play this role because I think he does
Okay,
a similar role in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but
awesome.
better.
Vince Vaughn as Jess would have been also for 89. I mean, pretty young, but maybe. He's definitely got, I would say, a little more acting chops than whoever's portraying Jess in this film.
Yeah. Vince Vaughn is obviously he's typically a very typecast actor. I think he could do Jesse very well because I think he could yeah, I think he could do Jesse very well.
Yeah, but Vince Vaughn always tries to steal the limelight from whoever he's acting again across.
That wouldn't
I
work
suppose so. He
against
does try to take the limelight.
yeah, that wouldn't work with Billy Crystal, I guess, because Billy Crystal's kind of not really trying to steal limelight. He's just trying to exist.
Least favorite dialogue. The whole time you guys have been talking, I've just been running through the movie, and no, nothing really comes past of what Sprink said for the other question. Uh, there's
For the
just,
other question.
yeah, the Harry and Sally least
Oh,
favorite
the
dialogue.
wedding one.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I feel like that fits this question as well. So that's what I'm
It
gonna lead
is,
with.
if that's the biggest. stand out to you?
Yeah, it's the only time
Yeah,
where it kind of felt like forced movie drama. It's not forced movie drama, but it's like the drama was played up for the sake
it's
of the scene.
heightened.
Yeah.
What if I just thought about another one of like the 80s? What if Jess was played by Dan Aykroyd?
I actually don't have a face for
Mm,
Dan
that's
Aykroyd.
yeah, I was gonna say that's the one I know the name of, but not the face connecting.
Stans in Ghostbusters. Not Venkman, not Egon, not Winston. Stans.
Mm, I can kind of see it.
Just thinking
Kind
like another 80 actor.
I could see him being played by Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey well, maybe.
For you, Crimson, that's the Andorian in Enterprise.
okay. Yeah, the guy that's like in every Star Trek show.
Yeah,
The
he
actor.
always cameos in any Star Trek.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Andorian, yeah.
Well,
Commander
that was two.
Shran.
Yeah, I don't. I
That
don't.
was two
I
questions
only.
out of writer. Sorry, I don't mean to interject. Can't see you guys,
No, that's fine.
but two out of writer. So this is a very simple one. It's just one way or the other. Being that was in the film, are you a 30-second or an all night guy?
I would imagine All Night Guy.
You
Yeah,
hint too much, Crimson. What do you mean? Yeah, right. Are you agreeing to Crimson's sentiment, or are you agreeing that that would be you?
Okay, so I feel like there needs to be a lot of caveats that are added to this. This is obviously firstly, I'm
Oh,
gonna, I'm gonna ask a base question. This is about sex, I'm assuming.
yes.
Okay, so there is the thrill of the rush when you're just trying to do a quick one for the sake of fun, and there's the thrill of like taking your time, you know, with foreplay, with your time when you're in the middle of the act, and also the aftercare when you're just cuddling. If we're counting cuddling, I'm gonna go all night too. Like I don't, I don't see why not.
Okay, I thought that's
I
what the
I
question was
misremembered the
posed to.
question.
Okay, I thought that's what the question was regarding to. Like afterwards, is it 30 seconds and then you're
Okay,
done, or is it?
Oh,
then
30
that's how I
seconds and you
thought. Okay,
leave.
I didn't
that's
think
what
it
I
was
thought the
actually
question
like
was.
sex
Yeah.
itself. Like, is it
Okay,
30
Okay,
seconds
good.
and that's it, or is it all night
okay,
long? I
all
didn't
right,
think it
okay.
was that.
Now I
Then my
understand
answer
the question.
stands because that's how
My
I read the question.
Yeah, my answer also stands. I aftercare is nice.
Okay, I am most certainly an all night guy. So
Yeah, I'm no Billy Crystal. I just sit there with my eyes open, being like, I want to leave. 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 I'm
yeah,
done.
that was
That
something.
was probably my least favorite thing in the film. Was that I felt so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
Good,
I mean, it's
good.
getting the
That's the
point across. He's
purpose.
clearly his mind is racing in on something else. It does get the point across, but
I don't know. It's hard because I feel like at this stage he should have some more like growth here. He doesn't look like he's contemplating his life here. It looks like he's contemplating when to leave, which doesn't show any growth on him.
for me, I thought he was. I guess that's just goes on to the acting because I read something completely differently from that, which is I read he's like, oh God, what did we just do?
That's where I got.
Yeah,
It's like, oh shit! We've now crossed this line,
yeah,
and
that line
his
that I've
experience
been
of what that
saying.
line is.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially when he said to Sally, like his experience is like, yeah, I had an anxiety attack on a date after my divorce. Still slept with her. Like that says a lot about who Harry is.
I guess that's where we'll differ because I didn't read that at all.
I think it can be both. I
yeah. I
think it
think I
can be
think
like,
both
oh my gosh,
interpretations are
what's
valid.
happening? How's it going to
Yeah.
go now? But also inexpensive. I got to get out of here. Got to leave. I want to.
I mean, the man was clearly thinking a lot. He could have been thinking all of what we were talking about and more, or he could have just been thinking
Yeah.
nothing, trying to blank it all out because he's.
And Sally's just nuzzling him, just going, that was nice. Yeah. Okay, let's go to Crimson.
Okay. Guess broad question, because I kind of did one in the beginning of the film. The ending. How do you guys like the ending of this film, and how well do you think they did with it? I'll start with Springs.
I like the ending. I don't love the ending. I do like the line of Harry saying, what was it along the lines of, I wrote it down,
She's got her perfect imperfections.
when you want to spend the rest of your life with someone, you want to start as soon as possible. I think that's a good line. And also to pitch that to Sally. Um, but I think it is that movie here. It wasn't necessarily a movie moment, but it is that hero thing of like making your final decision when you're by yourself and thinking to be okay. I want to spend my time and life with you. Situation at the party, and her just being like, "I hate you," because she's not fully healed from the situation of Harry and everything she knows about Harry, but to be then together. And it is nice that it ends with like how the salad has to be made and that they're the last like couple. Um, I think that was it's very sweet, kind of on the nose. Did remind me a little bit of the therapy sessions from Mr. and Mrs. Smith, being that they were included. Also, we haven't covered it, but also reminds me kind of like the end credits of the proposal.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. Speaking of Sandra Bullock from earlier,
Yeah,
It's all coming back around.
me, I think I learned something about this film,
well,
and
that's good.
it's on a topic we've had with horror films, where you feel desensitized to like older horror films where they're not scary. I think this feels like a generic romance ending, though I'm sure at the time this is I mean, this is a known movie, people heard of this movie, this is a big movie. But watching it, I'm like, I feel like I've seen this like 100 times, this doesn't feel impactful. My favorite part about it is the tying in with all the other, like, um, older
Interviews.
couple stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's the best part of it, that it ties in with all that. But the actual, like, meeting up at New Year's, the running back because you changed your mind, I feel like it's in everything, any romance thing. So I think I have that the horror effect that we brought up several times on the podcast. Now I think it might be applied to romances because I don't watch a lot of romances
I'm
slash rom com.
going to agree. I like the ending. I don't love it. I recognize, like, okay, yeah, there's nothing wrong with this ending. I think I wanted more from it, given the reputation of the movie. Um, but again, that's subjective, neither here nor there. So I would say that, like, I feel like I've seen a lot of this kind of ending before as well. Um, I think I don't even know what I would do to want to make the ending more unique because it kind of feels like it earned its traditional romance ending, and that's weird to say, but I wanted more out of it, I think. So I like the ending, I just don't love it.
Okay, I think we're all in the same boat then for that. The the couple interview thing of including them at the end does strengthen it, I think.
That was a nice bookend.
Yes,
Yeah.
because I think what the writer was saying of like don't know what you'd want to change or anything. I think this is just an issue. Well, it's not even an issue. It just comes with the territory of this genre. Is they a lot of them end with them rekindling because there's got to be some drama in the movie to strain the relationship, and at the end they come back together. There's there's only so much variation you can do with that as a premise.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I guess to piggyback off of that with the question, how did the two of you feel about the couple interview interlays throughout the film?
I will go first. I actually really liked them. Uh, I for a minute I thought that was gonna be, like, the people around them. So, like, at one of the later ones, we would've gotten Mary and Jesse, and then obviously the Harry and Sally would be the last one, but obviously that didn't happen. I like them as a scene break because you're getting all these unique real stories. It helps make the in I see the conveniences for what they are, but it does sometimes help make those conveniences feel more grounded. So it helps ground the romance we're watching a little bit more in reality. So I like the interviews, I do.
Okay. I'm kind of in agreement with you, writer, of that. I like the the aspects of like Harry and Sally as a couple or their romance building throughout the movie and seeing where that goes, interlaid with these other stories of how people met and got married of where they are today, shows so many different ways relationships build and are created to form love.
To add
And
a
Harry and Sally are just that, except explained fully on screen compared to the little interlays. So I think they tie very nicely to show the differences in what could occur of situations and relationships, and um, don't necessarily give such a one note to just Harry and Sally of their story, but other aspects of love kind of thing. So maybe I know you said this is a holiday movie and it does have Christmas scenes and 2 New Year scenes, but maybe I can see people being like, "This is a Valentine's movie." Never takes place on Valentine's. It's a very strong romantic movie. So,
to add one more note onto that, I would also think I also like the range that we get of couples as well, which is we have the couple that's they're both talking at the same time, kind of over each other. Then we have one couple who does like most of the talking. Then we have another couple where one person's filling in the gaps in the memory for the other. So you're kind of getting all these different versions of relationships and how they've clearly functioned together in such a short time, you know?
yes, I feel like I wrote them all down, but my notes are kind of all over the place. There was the high school sweethearts who meet 34 years later after high school. There was the one of the guy who went through 3 marriages from 5 women in the span of 35 years. There was the one where they were, like, practically neighbors but never saw each other until later. Yeah.
I like them. A personal preference I would have liked to have had is them being more relevant to what's happening in the movie. I understand that they're real; they're not written for the movie, so that it would make it more difficult. But if there was one talking about how they argued about some small thing, and that's what connected them, that would be a parallel to like the table scene in the movie. So I would like them if they were more relevant to the movie and not just these are different versions of couples. But I still like it. I like the inclusion of it.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were getting at first. And then I realized they were disconnected. But I thought that they were either going to be like people that Harry and Sally connected. So like the first couple, the first old couple we came across might have been Amanda and like her husband or whatever. But obviously that never happened.
Yeah. More in-world connection.
The more in-world connections, that's what I thought we were getting, and then that transitioned to what Crimson was describing, and then that transitioned to and describing. I'm like, oh, this is just to lay groundwork, is showing you know, their scene
Yeah.
breaks is what they're being used for.
How do you feel about the ages? Because they all seem to be older couples, and then they never showed, like, a couple of, like, in their 20s or, like, just various ages.
Yeah, except for them at the end, which is young, which was something I'm I don't actually really like that much. Because I figured probably when you guys did as well that the ending would probably be them as a couple, and I figured they would be old, not just because all the others are old, but that just seems like a natural progression. Like, oh, they've been in a relationship their whole life now, and they're still together. So seeing them just months after the ending of the movie. They're married now and
That is
stuff.
the only jarring thing about it
Yeah.
for me.
So I would definitely prefer them being older. I think it would actually have more impact if they were older. Granted, you'd have to get different actors or put old person makeup on them, but it is 89 and it probably wouldn't look very convincing. Um, So yeah, I guess that's where I'm at with that.
I think I fall onto more of the interlay should have not all been older couples to offset the two of them at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I think both would work. I think they either need to be old at the end to kind of fit the pattern that's been established, or break that pattern up earlier in the film so they're not just the strange like anomaly compared to the rest of it.
And I get that the older couples are to show all the time and the growth that relationships have,
Strength
and
of the
yeah, all the strength and
relationships.
everything. But it also could show different points of maturity level and experiences from multiple age groups of couples. Where with Harry and Sally, it is over the span of over 10 plus years, so they are maturing and changing in time.
Yeah,
So also it would avoid old people makeup at the end. Also, I don't know if this is a compliment or an insult. Hopefully, not an insult. But Meg Ryan and Billy Crystal to represent the time of 10 years. Good cast on that to make them look believable for the age of change.
That
They don't
was
have like
something I
baby face at like
didn't.
35 or
Oh, I see what you mean. Like they have neutral faces. My thing
yeah,
was they
like
didn't
it.
really look older. I think they did good with Harry because of the facial hair, but Sally looked the same the whole time.
I think actually just his top hair too. His top hair
I
does look different when he's in the college to towards the end of the movie.
the only
Yeah,
time where I felt Sally actually looked older was so I did feel Sally's age jump from uh college businesswoman, and then once we left the airport scene, once we jumped ahead, I didn't feel like she aged much from that point on.
I think it's fine and believable because they're going from like 20 well, actually Harry don't know his age, but Sally's age was she was 21 in the college scene because when it jumps to the lunch date with her with Marie and the other friend, she's 26 at the time. And then it jumps another 5 years, so then she's 31.
and soon I'm gonna be 40 and die alone.
Yeah. So just to show the time on Sally. But Harry, we never get a age of him. For all we know, Sally is older than Harry, maybe.
Uh, I wouldn't buy it, but it's possible.
Yeah. Okay. I got a question for the two of you to move on. Kind of a zany little small one. Would you spend
Alrighty.
$120 on a nightgown as a gift for your partner?
If it's one they'd really want, like really, really want,
But what's that
possibly.
mean? What's really, really want mean?
Like that's the thing they want the most. They don't want a console or a well, I don't know. Like it's the top of their wish list. Then maybe.
Yeah,
Okay.
it could be a specific brand that they want. Could be something like like it could be some like Japanese silk, or it could be
Or
stuff like
reminds
that.
them of the one their grandma had and they want it.
Yeah,
Could be other
there's a lot
reasons.
of factors that go into that. So my answer is yes with caveats.
To the two of you, does gift giving change between birthday or Christmas? Or a just because? Or Valentine's for that matter? Like any of those. Are they all equal to you?
I
Priority focused?
I would
Valentine would
say
probably be the least for me. I would probably birthday and Christmas are probably somewhat equivalent, though I would probably give more family friendly gifts on Christmas. Just
all right. Um yeah, I think birthday, Christmas would be the bigger gifts. Any gifts laced through the year would probably be lower.
Okay. So a heavy hitter nightgown would be birthday or Christmas.
most likely.
If they feel very strongly about it, I would probably say yes. If I didn't
Give that
fully
gift to a
understand
special
it
someone.
if I didn't fully understand it, maybe it could be a Valentine's gift, but I don't know. Valentine's I think you and I have had a lot of discussions about Valentine's Sprinks, but Valentine's for me is
Yeah,
more of
I hate
a
Valentine's.
yeah, I know. Valentine's Day, if you're in the right country, would more usually be like, oh, it's an excuse to go visit the festival that's for the day, or something to do together. You don't necessarily need an excuse. There might be some sale going on, but there's things that are opportunities that can open up on Valentine's Day that aren't necessarily there on days that aren't Valentine's Day. Kind of depends.
Okay. Um, I would buy a $120 nightgown for my partner if it was something they would really want. It would probably be the one and only gift they would receive of that time, not like that and something else, maybe like a couple chocolates or something like that. But and I would probably put it as well as birthday or Christmas.
Though I would question them. Why? Why not a
Oh,
$15 book?
I'd question before I bought it. I'm not gonna buy it and question when they open it.
Well, yeah. But if they're just like, just because I want to, just because I
I
want it, would you not get them that then? Or do you need a good reason?
I need a good reason.
Oh, so if it's the thing I want the most, I love it, top of my wish list. Why do you want
Why?
it? Well, because I want it.
Nope,
That
not good enough.
no gift?
You're not getting that. I can get you another nightgown. You need to give me a reason.
No, I'd be um practicality purposes. If they don't want to give the reason, I'd be like, okay, will you actually wear it, or will it just be hooked in the bathroom all day? If the answer is yes, I'll use it, then I'm more likely to get it than if it's just hanging there.
Okay. The only thing for that would wager on me is like, oh, I want this. Why? Because of like food. Like I'm hungry. Okay, well that makes sense. Okay.
I
But
want
if like just
Taco
because
Bell Sprinks. Well,
all right,
why?
cool.
Because I got a rumbly tumbly.
All right, cool. We'll go there for food. But if you're like, I want the Bavarian cream filled donut from Epcot now. It's like, we can go to the donut store over there. No, I want that one.
No, okay.
Not happening.
Question,
Sorry.
caveat, because I don't know what that triggered me a little bit just on something. Not actually triggered, but that just triggered a memory. If they're pregnant and they're highly specific about wanting something, does that change an answer?
Depends on how highly specific. But yes, that does change because that shows a level of commitment with one another.
So you'd fly to Disney to get a
No,
donut?
I said it depends on the low. I'm not flying out to Disneyland to get him a donut. Though I would look into if I could ship the donuts to where I'm at.
Yeah, I would look into that as like like I would probably drive. I'd be willing to drive an hour to get a donut. I think.
Yes.
After that, I'd work on shipping.
It's all, as Ryder said, variables. It all depends.
Yeah, there's variables here. There's layers like onions and ogres.
Okay. Well, that was my nightgown question. Let's go to Ryder.
All right. When do you think Harry and Sally realized they had feelings for each other?
Okay, feelings not attraction.
Um, I think attractions. Well, attraction would be the first scene. I think there's a little bit. There's intention to be a attraction there, but I'm gonna go with feelings. Yeah.
To me, the first sign of attraction I noticed was when the camera lingered on Harry at the diner, their first diner interaction, where she orders the salad
Yeah.
and he's just looking at her. That I caught on that he's attracted to.
I mean, he obviously is very
But
blatant in like a few sentences later about it, but
yeah.
yeah, no, my feelings would be my
Feelings for
question.
each other.
I have a potential pitch for that, I think, but I want to hear what you guys think first.
Harry, I don't fully know. It might be the museum because he opened up like that to her. Sally might be the bookstore when she learns about Helen and the divorce.
That might be good because she was pretty engaged in the conversation and she kind of opened it up to them hanging out more. So I can
Interesting.
kind of buy
Interesting.
that as her initial interest.
I do like the detail
Feelings is a little
of
stronger though. I don't know.
I do like the detail of the bookstore though, where Harry's standing in personal growth columns and Sally's holding a book called Smart Woman.
Yeah, it's really good. I also really like the quippy dialogue. It's like, oh yeah, but he never remembers me, and then he remembers her completely, and Mary just walks off.
Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
was a nice little bit of dialogue to show character growth from then to now. Um,
So Harry
all right.
didn't jump to the end of the self-help book to find the conclusion of how to help yourself.
Ooh, good pitch, good throw in. Not consistent with his character.
Yeah. I do like how they show that in like every scene he's reading a book, except for this one. Um, have him skipping to the end, keeping it consistent.
Yeah. Um, I I think my pitch is actually going to be for both of them on New Year's, the first New Year's, because the camera very much lingers on their expressions when they're embracing instead of, well, everyone's kissing
Sing.
and hugging and counting down. They're dancing together. They kind of get closer, and the camera kind of zooms in, and you see their expression. I get the sense that they both realized they had feelings for each other. If not at the exact same moment, I think Harry all might have realized. I have potential two moments for Harry. Harry either realized with her while they were embraced and inside, or he realized outside when they hugged after everyone was making out and kissing and celebrating the new year. Because that camera also lingers on his expression too.
It's a pretty good pitch
Yes, I
too.
actually have that in my notes too. Yeah, they're getting feelings during New Year's.
Yeah, I feel like that's where I everything before then was like testing the waters, building the friendship, and then that was just them because they're surrounded by couples. They're really, you know, as intimate as you could get with a hug. And they might feel their heart beating a little bit faster. I feel like that's when they both realized they had feelings for each other.
All right. Yeah, I'm willing to buy that actually. Because I think having feelings and then realizing there might be a future are two different things. I feel like the bookstore is Sally being like, "Oh, there might be more here." Not necessarily romantic feelings, but more
There
here.
might be something there that wasn't there before.
Exactly. But I think New Year's one is a good one for actual feelings. Uh, Sprinks, it's just been rattling in my head since we just talked about it. I now want to find your line. The robe. If the reason was because I like the color, is that enough?
Because she liked the color.
Of the robe, the $120 robe.
I will say I'll think about it and see in the span of a deadline that I give myself, either for birthday or Christmas, to see if anything else has come up that she would be interested in to get, or if she keeps bringing up the nightgown.
All right. What if she said, "I like the color and the feel of it"?
That it's still same thing.
Same thing. Okay.
I go, okay, I'll think about it. But
And
just me
I guess
making a
that's it.
mental note of it. It's not an improbability. It's not me putting my foot down. No, but it's not me being a pushover, going, "Of course, darling," and buying it immediately.
Alrighty. Um,
Sorry if that didn't fully answer your question.
it didn't, but that's fine. It's a hypothetical, anyways. Let's see. All right. Darn it! I just got
Why?
bit by this format.
Oh, I'm like, Crimson can't find something.
I mean,
No,
see, I
I
think
have
it's
something, but it's
yeah.
going to ask the same question that you guys don't have an answer for.
We don't have the answer to a question you're going to pitch, and you already know.
Yeah.
Oh
I
wow.
guess like you're answering first, and then that gives us time to think
The
of our answers.
question would be, Do you guys have any other continuity errors that you found? The answer being
Why
no,
would you ask that?
because
What
I have
makes the
another one.
question again? Well, okay.
'Cause I have
Well,
another one.
I mean, just tack it on. Just say like, yeah.
Sure.
Since the question is
Sure.
asked, just tack it on.
I didn't want you tagging on with the last time, but
So, Sprinks, do you have any additional continuity errors?
you know what, Crimson? I don't believe I do.
Ryder, you got any additional continuity errors?
Yeah, I got a continuity error with you. You didn't bring this up earlier.
Oh, good one. Yeah,
Well,
if we were
can we
talking about
fire the
animated
writer that
trading,
wrote
just
this
fire them
podcast
all off.
episode?
No, that's true. Let me go check my. Let me go check the script.
Yeah, there you go. At 5:41 on the drive to what the Chicago is where they're going, right? Or actually, what city
New
did they go to?
York,
They're going to
New
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 York,
York
York.
from
They're from
Chicago.
Chicago.
the
They're
Big
from Chicago.
Apple.
Yes, it's the
Yeah,
opposite of plane, trains, and
yeah.
automobiles.
Plane,
Not
trains, and
automobiles.
apples.
Oh,
Remember the Big
that's
Apple.
staying. Uh, Editor,
Plane,
clip
trains, and
that. I
apples.
want that so much.
uh, the he rolls down the window um to I forgot what he did. Did he smoke or spit or
He's
something?
spitting grapes,
Yeah,
grape
that's it. He's
seeds,
spitting out grape
the
seeds.
pits.
So he rolls it down to spit out, leaves it open while they're talking. Wide shot of them driving, windows closed, cut back inside, windows down while they're talking. So there you go.
Ah, so the windows rolled up on a wide shot.
Hmm.
I see.
Nice, nice.
I do like how nonchalant he is, thinking that the window's down automatically to just spit at the window.
He doesn't. Well, okay, yeah, that part. That was actually kind of amusing.
That was a little bit funny. I like you do. He falls. I was like, I should probably roll the window down.
Yeah. Window's not down. Huh, that's different.
Shows what he's used to driving it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Crimson, nice loophole to get that in.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Let's go to writer.
Alrighty, let's ask one of our classic recap questions. Least favorite character?
Well, it really falls onto character.
I would
What
be
classifies as
leaning
character?
Marie, probably. Mind you,
Carrie
I don't.
Fisher.
Yeah, I know. I don't think any of the characters are bad in this, but I'd say she's at the bottom of the totem pole for me. I'm just every time she's on screen, I'm not really invested in what's being said. She's not funny. She's not really part of any funny scenes except maybe the table talk. So she's fine. Her character's fine, but in the whole grand order of the cast, she's the least interesting to me.
And I say Amanda.
No,
Can I say Julian?
who?
The guy Sally's dating that.
No,
Yeah, okay.
I'm gonna pick Helen.
Um,
that's not a character either. Come on, guys.
No,
can
alright.
I say
Least favorite
Joe,
character,
the
huh?
boyfriend at the airport?
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
They all
there's
had
really only
names. They all
four
had speaking
characters.
lines.
There's really four
Yeah,
characters in this film. Mary,
yeah.
Jesse,
Crimson's really narrowing it down to only 4 people.
yeah. In that case,
We're
my
narrowing it down to
characters.
characters.
Yeah,
I'm giving examples that have names and lines. Not some background waiter, but okay. Uh,
I'm probably gonna
Jess.
go with Jesse. Yeah.
I think the baseball pitch or the batting cage scene really knocks him down for me, where Murray seemed like an actual back and forth with Sally.
Writer reason.
For Jesse, it's
Mhm.
kind of the same as Spring said. I think it's really that one scene that kind of drags down the character for me. And unlike you, I don't really find Mary that annoying, or well, not annoying, but
No, just meh.
I don't find her plain.
No, the other friend at the luncheon they have, I didn't even write down her name. I don't know
Yeah.
who that
If
is.
if she had
Yeah,
more than if she
don't know who
had,
that
like,
is.
more than one scene, I'd probably pick her, to be honest. I think
Yeah.
she has 2
Okay.
scenes, actually. If she had more than the 2 scenes.
Okay. I guess I'll go with a classic one then of a recap question. What was your favorite shot in the movie?
Um, Probably a lot of people's of the split phone call.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm going with well,
The big group one specifically, because I guess there's the duo split all on the phone.
okay. I love the big group split phone call. My follow-up to that one is actually just when Sally is helping Harry redecorate his penthouse, and they throw the rug out, and they both kind of like crouch down together with the kind of the city behind them as they're looking into the at the
Damn
rug.
oil.
That's one of
Damn
mine.
oil.
The other one
You
is the Met
stole
one.
mine.
That's coming. The other one's the Met
Stole
one.
mine.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, I that was my favorite shot of them with the rug all laid out and it's fully zoomed in on them, so you get the whole room and the back window and they're centered and they're together and you got the establishing shot, you got all the depth of the foreground, background, and midground, you got the two main characters. It drat took it. I also do like a shot during kind of like the montagey part where them doing all these activities together. Like one of them is them getting the Christmas tree. There's one of them in a park together, and I think that's a pretty good looking shot.
I I actually really like the overlaid narration of their phone calls with them just hanging out outside. Like them talking on the phone while we see them pick out a Christmas tree for probably Sally's apartment, I'm guessing, since we see Sally as the one alone when they're
Yes,
having issues with their relationship. But
I
yeah,
like the detail that the audio is not centered for that, which I can understand that would irritate some people. But Sally's audio is on the right side coming out of audio form, and Harry's is on the left.
I was not wearing headphones, so I wasn't able to
Oh,
tell.
it matches audio on screen.
That's cool.
Think that was a nice detail. So it actually, if you're wearing headphones, it does sound like you're getting a phone call.
What was the question again?
Your
Favorite
favorite
shot.
shot.
Oh, favorite shot. I said it. I said it was the split group shot.
Oh, that's right. Writer took it from you. That's why I forgot. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, then fine. Crimson, next question.
Okay. Um, how do I phrase it? So, did you guys catch the Rob Reiner Easter egg?
Him counting down.
Yes.
Because I didn't know it was an Easter egg until Springs talked in his facts about it. Or was it Springs?
Like, what was the fact?
No, the Easter egg or reference nod.
Rob Reiner.
Yeah,
From the facts that I said.
something in the movie I wrote
Yes.
down, not realizing it was a reference, but something you said in your facts made it a reference now.
Of him saying it's New Year's in his voice.
Nope. Uh, you see Harry reading the book Misery, which Rob
Oh,
Reiner
that's what I mean. Yes.
directed.
He
I
directed the
didn't know
movie
that.
Misery.
So imagine that was an intentional little Easter egg plopped in
Probably.
there.
That's what you're getting at. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You made me question that you're just restating the fact I gave from earlier when we started, making me think you're now out of question.
No,
But okay.
I was
Okay.
trying to find a way to ask a question of me noticing a reference, and that was to ask if you guys picked up on any. So
No,
there you
no, I
go.
did not pick up on the reference.
Okay. What was that? A writer.
Yeah, I don't know if I have a question, but there's a scene I really want to talk about. Try to figure out a question for it.
And find loopholes around this whole situation.
It's part of
Well,
the fun.
Springs, you got questions?
Yeah, I'll go with the big one. Can you tell a fake orgasm from a real one?
Well, no,
You wouldn't know.
no. Spoilers, audience. I'm a virgin.
It's not spoilers necessarily with all the answers you've been
I know. So this is gonna be the same answer. I don't know. Hmm. I would
Okay. Do
like
you
to think I could, but
okay,
I don't
okay.
know.
That was my follow-up then. Do you think you could?
I would like to think I could. Whether I
Okay.
think I could, I have no idea.
Okay. Well, I
Um,
see Ryder's being a little hesitant, so I'll go first. I know he's a little shy.
it's not that I'm
Um,
shy. I'm just thinking about my experiences.
thinking
So
of all the occurrences, with any of them fake?
no, so
um,
so here's the thing, right?
I
No, okay, never mind. You go first.
oh, okay. It depends on the person. Some are easy to tell, and some are not at all. So being that I can encounter both, I would say it's not as easy as one would think. But that doesn't mean it can't be spotted.
So
And of course, in a situation like that where it is fake, don't point it out. Don't make them feel bad. Especially, you see what you're doing with one another. Like, don't let it continue. Say it was okay. Don't feel disheartened by it. Don't be like, oh, they're putting on a show for me, kind of thing. Like they're trying. You know, they're doing it for you, for them. So don't be a dick about it. That's what I'm saying. Use your dick, but don't be a dick.
all right, the caveat I'm going to add for this is it kind of depends on the couple because some people really struggle to get off, and that's fine. And then there's the other aspect of it is some people like to be told, you know, when they're about to, you know, and so there's levels to this. Now as to whether I can tell, in my experience, I could tell, but that does not necessarily mean I would be able to tell for all experiences. Cause I'm in agreement with Sprinks in the sense that it kind of depends on the person. It kind of can depend on how well you connect with each other, how well you know the other person, and how open they're being with you. Whether uh,
Yeah, if they upfront in your face during it just goes, okay, I'm gonna fake it now. It's like, all right.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, but that's a conversation you should have in order to, if you want to have a healthy sex life, that is a conversation you should have pretty early on. So,
I think
uh,
so. Yeah.
I would say that I would like to think I could tell the difference. I'm sure there are signs that allow you to tell the difference, but those signs aren't consistent across everybody. So I would lean towards I would like to think so, but there's enough percentage that's up in the air. So
Okay. How do you two feel? Well, actually, that was my question, right?
Yes, it
So,
was.
Crimson.
Okay. So I'm gonna pull Sprinks. How do you guys feel about the title of this movie?
Interesting.
I think it's fine. I don't have any title issues. Thumbs up.
Interesting.
That's my answer.
All right. I'll go with mine. Well, Sprinks is interesting over there.
Very fast. Very
I don't.
Sprinks question to
I
say.
don't like the title of this film because I don't think Harry's the main character. I think Harry and Sally are very equal in this. So I don't know why it's called When Harry Met Sally. It really should just be When Harry and Sally Met or something along
Technically,
those lines.
Sally drove to go pick up Harry, so it should be when Sally met Harry.
So I don't like it because he's not the main character. So it's weird
Yeah,
that they're kind of framing it like that with the title.
yeah, okay. That's fair.
Doesn't really show fairness. Yeah. I have the title probably at like a 4 out of 10. I think it's a good starting ground, but it does feel when using the word when as that's the premise of the time. So like when Harry met Sally is the time of like the event. And it's more than that. It's so much more of the two of them.
Well, what with the title of When Harry Met Sally, it's like it's through the frame of When Harry Met Sally, but it's not through the lens of When Harry Met Sally. It's the lens of when they both met each other in their own different avenues. I mean, the movie's split between Sally talking and Harry talking to Jess about his relationship. It's not
Okay,
just the
Crimson,
Harry story.
could you give me a pitch on what title you would like to call it instead?
Like I kind of did the When Harry and Sally Met.
Okay.
And like Mr. and Mrs. Smith includes both of them because it's both of their story. If
Yeah.
you want to look
It's
at it
their
like that,
aliases.
it's not Mr. Smith.
What about Sally's Harry situation?
That still focuses it on her. It's a play on words, and it's funny, but it's more focused on her than Harry.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah. I do like that idea though that you say that it is
I think the title
showing
could
more
be
focus
better.
on
I don't
Harry and
have.
it's not.
Yeah, I think the title
At
could
least
be
the movie
better.
isn't.
Um, but I'm not like aggravated by it. I guess I don't have any particularly strong feelings towards it. Arguably, Harry's the one that makes the final decision at the end of the movie. Uh, so
True, but that's
I
not them meeting.
that's not them meeting. No,
That would be when Harry chose Sally.
There you go. Which still would lend to him being the main character.
Yeah. No, that's a good thing. When Harry and Sally met.
doesn't roll off the
You know, you
tongue, but
swayed
it
me.
is more grammatically correct for the what's going
It
on in
is
the
more
film.
correct. Yeah. I like that.
Right, that was my question.
Crimson, great question. That was a great
Well,
one.
thank you, thank
It felt very me question, so that was good.
you. I know you didn't intend it that way, but because it sounded like my kind of question, I really liked it.
Yeah. I'll take the pride in my selfish act there. Something I would say, and you said it.
Uh,
Okay.
all right. I think. All right, I got one. What's your favorite argument that happens in this film?
There's not many.
I can think of three, I
Yeah.
guess.
My favorite would probably be the wagon wheel table.
You took my answer.
The argument over the wagon wheel table, or the argument that Sally and Harry have outside.
The
Over the
table.
wagon wheel table inside.
Okay.
I do like outside though because they make up and they hug and they like apologize to one another. That was very nice and sweet. But the humor of the situation is inside.
The humor, so I'm gonna lay the groundwork. I think the one over the table is funny while also being super accurate to character because you can see the ticking time bomb slowly fizzling away uh, in Harry or while the argument table. But I think my pick would actually be the argument they have outside would be my favorite because they take you through all the progressions of the arguments. They both hurt each other and they both come back together at the end. So it was a very healthy progression of an argument.
I have a question for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Um, what did I mean in my notes when I wrote dog?
Like DOG or DAWG?
I was gonna ask that
DOG.
question too.
Dog. You
Dog.
just wrote dog as a
I just
note.
wrote dog, and I don't
Where in the
remember a
notes is this
dog.
located?
Yeah, what's the note before it and the note after it?
This was right after 3 weeks of silence,
Okay.
and following it was she cared about the sex and he didn't.
That's not much to go on, Harry.
That's I know. I was hoping you'd be like, oh yeah, that dog that's in that scene,
What
or
dog?
I don't
There's a
know.
dog that stood out to you? Is there a dog where it shouldn't have been?
It's either a literal dog or someone was referred to as a dog. Like, oh,
Or it's
you're a dog.
you rolling your eyes and you're like, dog.
No, that'd have been AW.
Or you could
Yeah.
have just been, or it could have just been that moment in Munchie, your dog. came and grabbed you at some point.
Yeah, I wrote
Yeah.
it as a journal entry in my notes.
You could
Keeping
have.
it real.
Sometimes ADHD just happens like that for me, where I come back to my notes and find out, oh, this was happening in real life. I accidentally included
Yeah.
commentary on my real life happening.
Crimson, I couldn't tell you why you wrote dog. Don't know.
Man, I was really hoping you guys would remember a dog at some point.
Sorry,
No.
not.
I
I'm sent to report. I just need to diagnose you with schizophrenia.
so I'm thinking like there's probably people walking their dogs in the crosswalks or that's what I'm trying to
Then
think. Was a dog somewhere it shouldn't have been? Was it at the New Year's party? Was it was she getting her
no.
Christmas tree and a dog was running around? Like I don't
And
remember any of that.
before the 3 weeks of silence notes, I wrote a lot of suicides over the holidays.
You got some dark notes.
Well, that was a line in the movie, but it's funny to see appear there.
Huh.
Oh
Okay.
well,
Don't
guess
know.
I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah. Well, you said you already wanted to try to rewatch it last night in time for the
I
recording.
did.
So
It would have refreshed my memory
yeah,
of this
which
note
is more
probably.
hints to the summary and rating. Ooh boy. Um, how's everyone? I know this is difficult to see. How's everyone? Which is also funny because it's a question, and I'm interjecting my own self. Jeez, how's everyone looking on questions?
Probably low.
Probably low. Okay.
Well, to be honest with you, I never had a list of questions.
Okay.
uh, so I mean, I can keep thinking. I can think of a couple more, but I think I got all the important bits I've needed to say thus far.
Okay. How about we do one more each? That sound good?
All right.
All right. So one more each. I'll go first to help. Which one do I want to go with? I'll go with how do you feel about the convenience that I have it as convenience that Julian, who is dating Sally, got married to Emily or Kimberly, met Kimberly and got married and dumped Sally over it, which is very similar to what Helen did to Harry.
Um, I don't. I don't really see the parallel between that, but I do find it convenient that Harry happened to know his friend Julian and the person he met five 5 years ago or whatever the time jump was there.
Did Harry know Julian?
Wasn't he a friend?
I think that was Joe, and that's at the airport.
Joe. Wait, which one was Julian?
Julian's the one later in the movie
Okay.
that she's crying on her bed and right before they have sex that she's talking about.
Then sure. Can live with that as a little convenient.
I think I have it as a nitpick.
I'm at a nitpick with that. I recognize all the I recognize what they're doing story wise for it. They're clearly trying to show parallels. I'm okay with that. Um, One of the reasons that he can more easily be there for her is because he's already been through that. Um,
Yes, but it's too much of written convenience for the sake of shared experience.
yeah, I think they could have worked that in a little bit more naturally. I does it. They can differentiate they could differentiate the experience a little bit in order to facilitate, I guess, you to make it feel more natural. But I think I'm okay with it in the sense of I don't think her ex should have called her. I don't think her ex should have called her to brag. I think it should have been like something that was reported to her from one of her friends. Like she realized that she found out through a grapevine. That would have been a little bit less convenient for me. Because the convenient factor for me is that Helen walked into the scene to trigger Harry, walked out. Very abrupt, very short, very awkward. This one, it just comes across like the ex called her and to brag for some reason. So for me, that's where the convenience comes in. Like that part is what's too parallel for me.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. And Crimson, you're fine, neutral on it.
Well, I mean, I said it's a little convenient.
Okay, a
So
little, but not at the point of nitpick for you. Doesn't
no,
hit the damage
probably
ladder. Okay,
probably not.
all right. Which one of you wants to go next?
I can go. So how I think it's a bit on the nose with the final song that was playing at the New Year's thing. So what do you guys think about the song use?
Isn't that the classic New Year's song? I forget what it's called.
I didn't know it was a classic New Year's song until I
I've never heard
watched
that
this
in
movie.
regards to New Year's. Yeah,
Yeah, until I watched this movie, and funny enough, it became relevant outside of that in like three different conversations for some fucking reason. The moment I learned it,
the song's in Person of Interest. I know that, but I've never heard it tied to New Year's before.
Am I thinking of a different song?
I don't know, maybe, but I also
The
would say I don't know any New Year's songs
the dun 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 bum 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 da 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 da
from
da da.
A
I
Wonderful
forget.
Life.
Yes,
It's like Old Man something. I don't remember the name of it.
but is that the song you were talking about?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I think that's a New Year's song. Is it
Okay.
Old Man
Well, I
Hype
can't really
or?
counter that because I've never
Oh,
heard of that
uh,
connected to New Year's.
in the
So
New Year's scene in Forrest Gump, it plays. Couple years back when I was in Disneyland for New Year's, after the fireworks went off at midnight, it played. So I thought it was just a New Year's song.
I didn't know it was a New Year's song until this film, but it is a New Year's song.
Oh,
Apparently, I just missed that.
hmm, well, the lyrics are quite fitting then. I was leaning towards the Friends thing.
do you think that New Year's ending is not the ending scene, but like the end of the movie for it to be on New Year's for the situation connects to that aspect you were thinking of with Casablanca from earlier, Crimson? Not that the song is connected to Casablanca, but a connection of the lyrics in the song to what's on screen.
I mean, yeah, I mean the characters even address it, the lyrics of the song. So
Yeah, Harry doesn't
I
know what it
suppose
means.
so. Yeah.
Okay. All right, and we go to you, Ryder, I guess, for the final one.
Ooh, I thought of two questions, but I think
Oh boy.
yeah, I know. So I'm
Save
gonna
one for the recap.
saving one for the recap. I'm gonna pick the well, yeah, I guess that question's asked directly in the recap. So I'm gonna go with the more relevant one. Is what did you guys think of? It's come up a few times. What did we think of the montage of flashbacks? Did it get any of you? I'm
Oh, I'm glad you asked that. I was going to ask that earlier and forgot about it.
happy to help.
I think it
That's why
is
you write
a
it down.
I think it is a decent one. Um, I didn't get too choked up on it at all, but I can feel the emotion behind it, which is what you want in a montage like this. It felt earned. It wasn't just a Maj Podge of garbage. It was pretty relevant relationship moments that they represented. So I thought it was good.
I think it's also good. I like how it shows how impactful Sally has been to Harry and what triggers him to go after her. That
Yeah,
this is
I lo-
all on his mind about her. And
yeah,
after he's been in, I would guess, more relationships than Sally's been in from their conversations throughout the movie.
yeah. I like that the trigger for it is where they first parted ways. So that like the white arch. That's I don't know the name of the arch. But the
But
white
yeah,
arch
yeah.
that he's standing by, like that's where he was dropped off originally. So I like that is kind of one of the trigger points as to why he has a montage. I think they set up that really well. So I'm in agreement. I didn't get teary eyed, but I felt the weight of emotion behind it. I saw the relevance of every scene that was leading up to him realizing like, no, this is I'm not gonna let her go because this is worth fighting for and this is worth having.
Very sweet.
Did you know that Arch was in episode 2 called Ghost of Person of Interest?
So of course,
Yes,
we can
I
throw
do
in person of
actually.
interest. Yeah. Do you know it's also in National Treasure when Benjamin Gates is ridden
Ba-dum-bum-bum,
away?
bum-ba-dum-bum.
Yeah. So,
Well, all right.
um, but yeah, I would not put it on the side to exclude it. I think incorporating it into the movie in that scene is very
Yeah, I'm not sure what I would have done with the montage to make me more emotional because I was already invested with the characters, so I didn't realize anything with this one alongside Harry because I already knew Harry felt this way. I'm actually going to make a comparison to Belle, the montage in Belle, or the yeah, the flashback intercut scene with Belle because and when you watch the scene for the first time, you're actually learning something. Well, you're if you're not learning something with the character, you're going with the character while they learn something in a highly specific way. Whereas here, I didn't really get that, and I think that's what I need to get that extra twinge of emotional investment for me to get me to start crying. Usually, again, not a bad montage. I think it's still very good, but I think I'm finding that is the pattern that I need in a montage for me to start crying.
Alright.
okay. Well, all wonderful questions throughout. But with all that, we will go into summaries and ratings. And writer's question, I might have another question. Crimson could find another question. Could
I
all
do
come up
have
to
one.
the recap. Oh, well, great. Recap questions. Awesome.
Alright.
So, with summaries and ratings, let us start with Crimson.
Alright, I will start with my objective. So, in terms of a film, it's not very complex. As I kinda talked about, it's kind of paint by numbers in terms of a, like, I guess, rom-com. Um, it's pretty formulaic, which isn't a bad thing. It's just what it is. I think the characters are all pretty consistent. The only thing I could really find is Sally that I brought up early of forgetting or dropping the realizing Harry's a potential cheater, so that not coming back into play as a question or something along those lines. That's the only thing that popped out, and her like um, stonewalling him at um, the wedding or whatever it was. Um, Everything else, I feel like everyone's pretty consistent, which is nice. The the camera work is average. There's some good shots, being the like split um, shots of the group or the phone call stuff. That stands out as being good. The music is very non-memorable to me. I can't even think of the soundtrack in this or the OST.
I don't remember the New Year's
Um,
song for some reason.
I mean, I know that song. Um, the CGI is great. I didn't even see it. It was very good.
Wow,
Uh,
grasping for straws now.
I mean, yeah, I don't know what much more to say. I think the pacing is adequate. The time jumps deliver enough progression in the characters' lives to be viable. It makes sense. There is the layer of convenience of them meeting so frequently in such a small period of time, which is not impossible, but highly improbable. Especially the longer time goes, the less likely you are to meet someone because you both could take separate paths, end up in different cities, so on and so forth. Uh, Jess and Marie, I said they're cardboard. I still stand by it, but that isn't a bad thing. They fulfill their jobs. I don't think they weighed down the film in any way. I don't feel like they're fluff during any scenes. They do have impact. Closest being just with the baseball batting cages, but even then, I don't think it's that much of a fluff scene because there is stuff coming out of it. So overall, I'm giving this an 8.5 objective. Subjectively, it probably came through our coverage, but it's paint by numbers to me. It doesn't really stand out. Uh, the characters are fun and all, but it's not something I probably will go back to anytime soon. So I have it at a safe 6, and that's where I'm at.
All right. Crazy you didn't touch on the costume department. I know that was something you were apprehensive about before we start recording, but
Yeah, they look like people. A
yeah.
good job on them.
Ooh,
I only have
8.5.
one. I
They look
only
like
have
people.
really one costume note, but you know.
Ooh. Well, I'll go next. We'll save writer for the end because it seems exciting that way. Um, I'll start with my objective. I think the acting in this movie is very good acting. From Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan. Carrie Fisher does fine, and whoever plays Jess did okay. I'll say that, but no terrible acting. Um, I think the camera work is very average. Nothing really stands out. I mean, there is the split phone call scene, but even the shots for that are just lined up. That's more like editing, I would say. The editing in this movie, I think, is very good. It's good pacing for all that, but the shots themselves are okay. The location stuff is okay. The costume stuff is okay. Where this movie really shines is the writing of romance. This is a well written romance of two characters and how their life revolves into the situations and experiences around them and how they became friends and how sex can get in the situation of friends and then how does that affect the relationship and all that. And I think that's very well done. The interlays of the actual couples, I think, go into the aiding of differences in relationships to show the characters, and I think that aids into Harry and Sally as they are an opposites attract couple, rather than like, oh, you like that, I like that too. They don't do that very much at all. So I think that's where this movie very much shines, and that's probably why it gets brought up a lot of times when people talk about romance movies. Um, but everything else of the movie making process of the movie weighs it down for me. Not hugely negative. I don't think there's anything like that sucked in this movie by looks of things. I guess there is the more tools of characters besides Harry and Sally in the movie, but they're not horrendous. They're just for the sake of upping Harry and Sally throughout the movie. So I am comfortably putting my objective at a 6.5, more good than bad, and the romance is like the whole writing aspect is like whole point add on. Um, but this movie definitely could have been better. I think if it was more than just two characters. But I get that the purpose of the movie, which goes into like people thinking objective like stance of all that, I get that the movie is about two characters, and they do that. But for me, there is far more into movie making process than just that aspect. So 6.5. Subjectively, it's a romance, and the romance works for me. It's a comedy a bit, not like belly laughs on the floor, but there are some funny moments. I enjoy it. I think it's pretty good. I boring as I did when I first saw it a long time ago. Um, I do think there are better rom coms I enjoy far, but I think there's probably also rom coms or movies that are classified as rom coms that are way worse that I wouldn't classify as rom coms. So I think this is a nice safe 7. It's good.
Guess that leaves me.
So that leaves you, Raider. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. I'll do. Hmm. I'll do my objective first, I think. So the where well, I'll start with the world building. 'Cause the world building is not really much going on in terms of like they need to be super creative. It's just they've plugged it into our world. The world building is convenient. They reintroduces our characters together, and that does tie into the plot a bit. There's some conveniences to push the plot and world along, and the kind of pushing our main two characters together. That's fine. It's convenient that Helen shows up. It's convenient that uh, I don't remember Sally's ex. Don't know their name. Um, but it's convenient that they just randomly decided to call Sally, and can putting our characters in a position where one needs to go comfort the other, and that leads to them sleeping together and throwing their whole relationship into question. So the plot and the world building definitely have some nicks here and there, and nitpicks, but nothing super egregious. There's nothing that was like glaringly breaking the film. The minor continuity errors don't really change the world all that much. Like there's no disappearing knife that was supposed to kill a character kind of level of editing and continuity error. Um, there's uh, a, in terms of plot, it's fairly archetypal rom com that they do very very well. They they kind of have an opposites attract, and then they as they both grow, they kind of slowly become more compatible with one another as they both grow older and stuff like that, which is kind of what feeds into the slow burn of the romance. Um, I think that there, uh, it's when I get to complain about a well-written movie's tools being obvious tools, that's usually that's usually very far down the list when I have bigger fish to fry. But I can complain about it here because the film doesn't get too much wrong with its characters. Even though I will complain about Helen's entrance and doesn't serve much of a purpose, I will argue she is an effective tool and does send one of the main characters, Harry, down a particular path in order to facilitate scenes that come afterward. I would say the same thing for Sally's ex being reintroduced to the story. Again, very tool oriented. I would say that they have a bit more to them because Sally talks about them more. Sally, talks about how like she wants a family, and that was how their relationship fell apart and stuff like that. And in the same way that when she finds out that she was going with another girl and is willing to have a family with them, that also changes like her thought process. So he's probably I would say a little bit more of a character than Helen is. Um, but again, mostly he is relegated to just being a tool. I would say the same of the side characters, Mary and uh, Jesse. I think the only again, it's already been mentioned the scene where they at the batting cages is probably Jesse's worst scene. I would say collectively the most damaging potentially character moment for them is one that's more of a played for that could be potentially seen as laughters when they just both get into the cab together. That still bothers me as far as their characters are concerned because they're supposed to be really good friends with Harry and Sally. So it still feels odd to me. It's not it doesn't quite break character, but it still feels like another nick into their characters, which is not a lot, but it needs to be stated. And then obviously that leaves the central focus of the film, which is Harry and Sally. Um, I'm not as far along with Crimson as Sally is forgetting the whole cheating aspect, being a core character that was dropped. I do think there is room for her to see that to grow, but I am in agreement that I feel like mentioning it, whether it be a joke or offhandedly or something like that, to kind of give that bit of a character trait a kind of an ending would be very useful. I think in rounding this out as a um, rounding out that character trait so it doesn't come across as an obvious nitpick. Um, I think that otherwise Sally is very well fleshed out from beginning to end. The forgetfulness of like who her friend was that introduced them, them slowly getting introduced to each other, the wordplay that she has, the dialogue is all great. And I would say much the same with Harry. I kind of complained about his acting a little bit, or rather, how the inner monologue meshes with the acting. And I just have to say the caveat again: good actor, uh, did a good job. But again, dialogue is really well done for him. I think his character traits come across in a competent way. I do think that there's not much wrong with Harry. I don't think I can't really think of anything that's wrong with Harry as a character. Um, so I'm probably at an objective 9. Um, I there is some there are some bits and bobs here that are where the film, I guess, struggles a little bit more, but there's really not much to go that I would view as objectively wrong with the movie. Um, Subjectively, oh boy, color theory. I'm gonna talk about color theory. Liked is they were in somewhat contrasting color schemes a lot of the time. Not saying they were exact, like, black and white, but they were in contrasting color schemes for a lot of the time. And then those color schemes began to kind of mirror each other. With the scene I described with them standing over the rug, uh, obviously she's wearing a red sweater. He's wearing blue jeans. He's got a white shirt on. She's, I think, wearing a skirt. But the what I really liked was I guess the primary color usage with that particular scene that really I guess got to me with their outfits. Um, I like a lot of the themes that play that this story covers. I think the I this film does a lot of things in a small way that a lot of other romance movies don't do, which is, like I said, they talk kinks. That's not a lot of romance movies go into that. Um, or at least back then. I don't know if that's changed. I haven't seen many romance movies recently. Um, I would say I quite like the themes of like going through the argumentative process and how healthy couples can deal with it or healthy friendships can deal with it. So there's a lot of interplay within this film that I personally really like to sink my teeth into as both a writer and storyteller and what have you. And there's a lot of good character stuff here that I also really really love. So my subjective is probably gonna be an 8.5. I like the movie quite a bit. It's not gonna be like my favorite movie I go out of the way of, but this is a movie that if I see on, I'm gonna sit down and watch. I'm gonna. Uh, I could recommend this movie to a few people because I think it's good. I Yeah, I 8.5. I enjoy this movie. I'll probably uh depending on my tradition, because I have a New Year's tradition, this might be tacked onto it just to spite Crimson. But we'll see.
Hey!
Interesting. Some high numbers. That's a good way to start off the new year.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to start off the new year this way. um, all right, gentlemen, shall I read us out, or is there anything else?
All I have is to remind the audience, hey, if you like this new format, let us know. If you don't, also let us know.
That's
That's about it.
true.
And
You
Happy
bet.
New Year.
And
Yeah,
Happy New Year,
and a happy new
2026.
year. All right. Thank you, audience, for listening. Whether it be Spotify, Amazon, Castbox, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, Pocket Casts, and Samsung. And if you had to be in our visual side of things, be it YouTube or Rumble, thank you for watching our PNG YouTuber slideshow there. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe everywhere. Tell us how much you hate our opinions or how much you love them. And as always, I've been a geeky writer,
I'm Crimson Maroon.
Springs.
and we will catch you next time. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Toodaloo.